What's up guys, this is your favorite fanfic YouTuber, the Fanfic Majesty, and welcome to another amazing video. You can follow me on Patreon for exclusive stories.
3. Chapter 51 Lan Fei's 12 Earthly Branches Shen. Sayu opened black lens bracket for evaluation of flowers close black lens bracket. Could it be that Kim Rolex told him? After a while, Sayu thought of a possibility. After all, Jin and Lan Fei are from the same hometown. However, this idea was quickly denied by Sayu himself. Jin Rolex is not such a person. If he does not reach a certain level, it is impossible for Kim Rolex to reveal the secrets of the Hunter Association to others. What's more, Lan Fei is still so young, so he is not qualified to touch this level at all. Little devil, how do you know the existence of the 12 earthly branches? Sayu stared at Lan Fei seriously. I've known it since I was a kid. Lan Fei smiled and didn't explain too much. No, it's since you were a child. Could it be that this kid is born with the ability to prophesy? Sayu frowned. Mr. Sayu, you should know the purpose of my coming here. I'm in a hurry. Lan Fei got up slowly. You little brat is really impatient. Since you are so anxious to go back to the 200th floor again, then I will help you. Sayu nodded and also stood up from the sofa. Mr. Sayu, you are very confident in your own strength. Lan Fei grinned. It's the same for you, otherwise, it would be impossible to choose to challenge the landlord of the 250th floor. Come with me, I also want to know how capable you are, a brat, to defeat me and take the position of the landlord on the 250th floor. Sayu snapped his fingers, turned around and walked towards a ring on the 250th floor. His thin figure seemed a bit out of tune with his current reputation and status. In Lan Fei's eyes, this Sayu is as thin as a monkey, and also looks a bit wretched. The members of the 12 earthly branches are all unique skills. Soon, the two walked up to the huge arena on the 250th floor. The arena here is very different from the arena on the 200th floor. It is only provided for the owner and the challenger, and it is hidden and cannot be seen by the audience. Of course, the host of the battle screen in the arena can be seen, because this is a video arena transmitted remotely. Whenever the result of the challenge is released, the host will spread the news as soon as possible. The reason for keeping it secret is that I don't want to expose the strength and identity of the 21 landlords, but the result of the challenge can be announced. Ding dong. At this moment, a broadcast sound echoed in the entire Sky Arena building. Lan Fei, who has won 10 consecutive victories on the 200th floor, has the qualifications to challenge the landlord, and the person he wants to challenge is the landlord on the 250th floor. Please wait and see what the result will be. Did you hear that? This brat is too crazy, right? How dare you challenge the owner of the 250th floor? Can't you be crazy? This guy went straight from the first floor to the 200th floor, and he has won 10 consecutive victories on the 200th floor. He has never lost a record. He is really the most talented boy in the Sky Arena so far. That's right, even if he loses to the landlord on the 250th floor, his reputation will forever become a legend in the Sky Arena. That's right, if I can have such a record and earn both fame and money, even if I lose to the landlord, it will be worth it. That's right, it's not a shame to lose to the landlord. I'm really looking forward to the final result. If this kid really replaces the landlord of the 250th floor and becomes the new landlord, then his reputation will definitely be known all over the world. That's right, after all these years, the status of the 21 landlords has not been shaken at all, let alone the highest 250th floor. The identities and strengths of the 21 landlords are too mysterious. Even the final challenge is kept secret. It's really tempting. As the sound of the broadcast spread throughout every floor, the entire Sky Arena exploded in an instant. Acting master, did I hear correctly? Lan Fei actually wants to challenge the landlord on the 250th floor. Isn't it crazy? In the lounge on the 50th floor, Zuchi pricked up his ears in shock, listening to the radio echoing in every corner. I don't know the identity of the landlord on the 250th floor. It's still a mystery. Little ghost, no matter you win or lose, you are considered a genius among geniuses if you have made it this far. Wing adjusted his glasses frame. Lan Fei, you have to work hard. If you can replace the landlord on the 250th floor, you are the goal I want to chase in my life. One day, I will challenge you again. Zuchi secretly made up his mind. Challenge the 25th floor. This brat is really courageous. If he can win, he will be the strongest in the Sky Arena. Even the head of the group, if he encounters a pervert like Lan Fei, he will probably only be able to get away with it. I really hope this kid can join the brigade, so that the strength of the brigade can grow, and it is expected to become the world's #1 killer group. In a certain lounge of the Sky Coliseum, Maki lay sideways on a comfortable sofa, revealing a pair of slender beautiful feet, and the whole person looked intellectually beautiful. Contestant Lan Fei, since you choose to challenge the host on the 250th floor, you must first understand the rules of the final challenge. On the ring on the 250th floor, Lan Fei put his hands in his pockets and stared at Sayu calmly in front of him. At this moment, Sayu also stared at Lan Fei calmly. Around the arena, the host's voice slowly came. 1. Unlimited time. 2. If you fall out of the ring, you lose. 3. Automatically admit defeat. 4. Death. Little ghost, I hope you will admit defeat later, I don't want to strangle you, a young genius, in the Sky Arena. As the host announced the rules of the game, Sayu spoke slowly with a calm face, with his hands behind his back, his arrogance leaking out. Me too. Wait a minute, you'd better admit defeat, otherwise, I might kill you if you're not careful. Lan Fei grinned, and his words were equally domineering. Very good, very good. How long has it been? It's been a long time since I took the position of the landlord on the 250th floor. I haven't met anyone who makes me want to fight. I hope you don't let me down. Saiyu laughed bitterly, and slowly lowered his hands behind his back. So far, I have been looking for someone who is worthy of my all. Unfortunately, it's not you. Lan Fei said calmly, and slowly stretched out his hands from his pockets. The atmosphere suddenly changed, and the two fighting spirits began to rise to the extreme. Game start. A moment later, the voice of the host opened the prelude to the landlord challenge. Chapter 52 Nenbi's Nen Open Black Lens Bracket Flower Evaluation Close Black Lens Bracket. Little ghost, let you feel what the difference is. Although you can win 10 consecutive victories on the 200th floor, your strength should not be underestimated, but after all, you have a little more luck. Boom. In an instant, Saiyu condensed, and then released Lien, a terrifying aura glowing darkly like a devil in the abyss, suddenly pressing on Lan Fei. Is this the mighty Nen of the 12 earthly branches? Lan Fei was slightly surprised. Compared with Saiyu, the opponents he met before were like heaven and earth. As expected of the landlord of the 250th floor. However, my thoughts should not be underestimated. Lan Fei took a deep breath, his willpower was firm, and he also released his training. An equally terrifying aura glowing with hot golden light like a bottomless pit crushed towards Saiyu. Zzz. In an instant, as if a magnetic field had been generated, the two terrifying auras collided with each other. The golden light and the dark light kept colliding and fading away. After a while, calmness was restored. This aura, how is this possible? Saiyu stared at Lan Fei in shock. How did a 13-year-old boy burst out with an aura not weaker than his own? Even if he practiced in the womb, he wouldn't be able to reach such a terrifying level, right? You know, I am a 2-star hunter, a member of the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association, and I have been practicing for decades to cultivate such a powerful aura. After all, the practice of Nen's 4 majors is not only relying on talent, but also relying on continuous improvement of will and accumulation over time to reach the current level. But Lan Fei is only 13 years old, and his aura at the age of 13 is not weaker than his own. How did he do it? It is conceivable that the strength displayed by Lan Fei really frightened Saiyu. This is the strongest challenger he has encountered so far when he climbed to the top of the 250th floor, and he is still a 13-year-old challenger. What is the gap? I really don't understand. Seeing Saiyu's shocked face, Lan Fei couldn't help grinning. Comparing your aura with yourself. What a joke. Although I only practiced Nen for a short 2 hours, I was in the cultivation acceleration space. After training through the cultivation accelerator, the flow of time was completely different. 2 hours outside, I don't know how many years have passed in the cultivation acceleration space. Therefore, it is only by releasing the aura of training that Lan Fei can reach the current level, no worse than Saiyu, a member of the 12 earthly branches. Good boy, I underestimated you. The person who can get the qualification to challenge the landlord is really abnormal. Saiyu took a deep breath, his body was still wrapped, and his face was extremely serious. 8-foot Chong Guyu. At this moment, Lan Fei jumped up and directly used the ability of the shiny fruit. Densely packed dazzling light bombs shot out from himself, submerging towards Saiyu. Well, this brat is Transmuter Nen. Seeing the dense light bullets bursting out from Lan Fei, Saiyu frowned. The Nen of Transmuter are the most difficult to deal with, but it's a pity that you met me. Whoosh whoosh. I saw Saiyu's figure flickering very fast, relying on the state of practicing, relying on his strong aura and will, he was able to escape the attack of Lan Fei's 8-foot Chong Guyu unharmed. Little devil, you underestimate me. I'm a 2-star hunter. Transmuter's Nen doesn't do much for me. At this time, Saiyu's figure stopped slowly, staring at Lan Fei with a half smile. You are the first person who can avoid my 8-foot Chong Guyu so far. Also, I'm not a Transmuter Nen. Lan Fei didn't care. The 8-foot Chong Guyu is a move that deals explosive damage in a large area. I didn't expect to be avoided by Saiyu. I have to say that the 2-star hunter is really strong, not the half-baked ones I encountered before. Nen who are not Transmuter. Impossible. Release the chi of the body, and then change its appearance, attack the enemy or execute orders. This is Transmuter. I am a Transmuter Nen, so, as a Transmuter, I know the attacks of Transmuter Nen like the back of my hand. Saiyu said lightly, I know you're a Transmuter Nen, but I'm not. Of course, if you think it is, then so be it. Lan Fei shrugged. Saiyu, as a member of the 12 earthly branches, he is best at Yin Beast, and Yin Beast can only be controlled by Transmuter Nen. Little devil, I'm going to get serious next time. It has been a long time since no one has been able to let me experience the thrill of extreme combat. I still say that, admitting defeat is your only way out, otherwise, my prey usually has only one end, and that is death. Jia, Saiyu said with a smile. He slowly opened his hands, and then through his thoughts, he condensed his energy into 3 beasts that looked exactly like monkeys. Okay, this is your Nen, Transmuter's Mind Beast. Seeing the 3 Yin Beasts popping up in front of him, Lan Fei couldn't help squinting his eyes. These 3 Yin Beasts look like little monkeys, playing with each other, they are cute at first glance. In Lan Fei's memory, Saiyu can condense 3 Yin Beasts, which are, seeing monkey, listening monkey, and speaking monkey. And to maintain their own ability, the enhancer will be in chaos after being recruited, or the action will be very easy to predict due to the flow of chi, and then use the Rui stick to fight it. However, with the speed of light of Lan Fei's sparkling fruit, how could the three Yin Beasts have a chance to hit him? Moreover, even if Lan Fei is deprived of vision, hearing, and prophecy, unable to maintain his entanglement state, unable to activate his own Nen, he can still cast the 8-door dungeon and the ability to display the sparkling fruit. The most important thing is that Lan Fei's Nen is a curse ability of the trait system, which is similar to Hidan's curse in Naruto. So far, he has never activated his Nen on anyone. Since you have used the strongest Nen, I will let you show my Nen. You are the first person to see me use Nen so far. Amazon Cloud Sword. Lan Fei grinned, the golden light in his palm was blazing, and then a golden lightsaber condensed. Chapter 53 Fear. The horror of the curse open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. I'm the first to see you use Nen. Hearing this, Sayu couldn't help being surprised, and then frowned. This is manipulator. Seeing Lan Fei condense the Tiankongyan sword, Sayu was even more shocked. Is the Nen of this kid in front of me a transmuter or a manipulator? The body can emit dense light bullets, which definitely belong to transmuter. But right now, the golden light can condense into real objects, which is definitely what a manipulator can do. Sayu was a little confused. You must know that the weapons that appear in the form of gas tools are usually not pure weapons, and most of them have additional unique abilities. Indeed, when Lan Fei condensed the Tiankongyan sword, then his curse ability appeared. However, the curse is Lan Fei's trait Nen, not a manipulator at all. The reason why Sayu was confused was because of Lan Fei's shining fruit ability, which looked like transmuter Nen, and Amakong Yunjian was materialized, like a manipulator. Little ghost, what kind of monster are you? Sayu took a deep breath, his face became serious. This was the first time he encountered an opponent who really made him feel difficult after he became the owner of the 250th floor. Moreover, this difficult opponent is still a 13-year-old boy. I said, either you admit defeat, or I will kill you. Lan Fei stared at Sayu with a half-smile, he wanted this effect so that others would not be able to guess his Nen. Moreover, I haven't used the 8 Door Dunjia yet. With the terrifying body art of the 8 Door Dunjia, the attack and defense are brought to the extreme, which looks like an enhancer. Humph. Hearing this, Sayu only felt that Lan Fei was boastful. Go. Sayu's face was serious, as if facing a big enemy, the three Yin Beasts released suddenly rushed towards Lan Fei. The three Mind Beasts each have their own execution orders. As long as they attack Lan Fei, they can deprive Lan Fei of vision, hearing, and language, making Lan Fei unable to activate and maintain his own abilities. Therefore, in Sayu's view, his chances of winning are still very high. No matter what kind of Nen Lan Fei is, as long as he is attacked by his Nen Beast, he will no longer be able to motivate him, and can only be slaughtered by himself. Unfortunately, Sayu underestimated Lan Fei too much. Since he dared to challenge him, Lan Fei was naturally confident. 8-foot mirror. Ong. I saw Lan Fei's figure instantly turned into an element, and then turned into a golden light refracted out, directly avoiding the encirclement of the three Yin Beasts, and appeared behind Sayu in the blink of an eye. So fast. Sayu was taken aback, what kind of speed is this? Even he couldn't react, and he didn't have time to take out the weapon Rui stick, so he could only concentrate all his chi on his hands, use Jian, to achieve the strongest defense, and block his hands from Lan Fei's Tiankongyan sword. After all, the state of entanglement and training has not yet been lifted, and Sayu can use the advanced applied skill, strong, to envelop a certain part of the body with chi to strengthen his own offensive and defensive power. Boom. The golden light was extremely dazzling, and then Lan Fei's figure was condensed, and the Tiankongyan sword in his hand slashed fiercely at Sayu's body, even though he used strength to resist, he was still chopped off by Lan Fei's sword. Boom. I saw Sayu's figure flying fiercely, and then hit the edge of the ring. The hands that blocked Lan Fei's slash trembled faintly at this moment. Defeat you wrapped chi around your hands to strengthen your defense, but still you can clearly see the deep sword marks on your wrists. Inside the sword marks, traces of blood were flowing. Sayu couldn't believe that he was injured. Moreover, it was under the condition of launching Jian by himself. Although I am not a Nen of Enhancer, I can still achieve the strongest defense of a certain part by using Jian, but I was cut by Lan's Amakongyan sword unexpectedly. Speed, power, unrivaled. Adept at transmuter, manipulator, such an opponent is just a 13-year-old boy. Perverted, it's too perverted. Sayu took a deep breath. With the speed of light, my Yin Beast can't catch up at all, let alone attack people. If it drags on, I will definitely lose. What should I do? Sayu's thoughts were completely confused. It was the first time he met someone who made him helpless. Even if he was facing President Netero, he had never been so helpless. I'm sorry, you were injured by my Tiankongyan sword. At this time, Lan Fei was holding Tiankongyan sword and staring at Sayu with a smile. Taking a closer look, there are faint bloodstains flowing on Tiankongyan sword. This brat. Sayu gritted his teeth. He was a dignified 2-star hunter, a member of the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association, and was ridiculed by a 13-year-old boy. Next, the ceremony will begin. Hope, wait until you don't despair. Lan Fei grinned. I saw him raising his hand, and the Tiankongyan sword in his hand slowly drew a circle of light, and his figure stood in the circle of light. Ong. As the blood on Tian Kongyan's sword dripped into the aperture, a strange curse pattern also appeared in the aperture, which was clearly the mark of a skull. This is the Lan Fei trait Nen, the curse. In his previous formulation with the system, once Tian Kongyan's sword hurts someone, it can start the curse ceremony. Ceremony. Hearing this, Xiyu frowned, staring at Lan Fei vigilantly, and the three Yin Beasts also returned to his side. Actually, I don't want to kill people, I just want to get the position of the landlord on the 250th floor. Lan Fei raised the Tian Kongyan sword high, and then slashed at his left hand. What is this brat doing? Self-harm. Xiyu stared wide-eyed, looking at the scene in front of him in disbelief. Puff. In an instant, Lan Fei's left hand fell directly to the ground. Ah! Immediately afterwards, there was a scream, and Xiyu stared at Lan Fei in horror. His left hand was also cut off at the same moment, and blood gushed out instantly, staining the ring red. Next, the left foot. Oh, I forgot to tell you, my body can be elementalized. Lan Fei grinned, then raised his hand. Tian Kongyan's sword cut down towards his left foot again. And the left hand that was cut off by him turned into a long light pearl at this moment, and condensed on the body again. In the blink of an eye, the left hand returned to its original state. But Sayu's left hand can never be restored to its original state. Chapter 54 Admit Defeat. The new owner of the 250th floor is released seeking flower evaluation. Puff. As soon as Lan Fei's words fell, his left foot was cut off by Tian Kongyan's sword, and he rolled directly onto the ring, and he could faintly see the golden light from the severed cut. Unlike Xiyu, Lan Fei can be turned into an element, not to mention broken arms and legs, even a broken head and waist is fine, this is the horror of the shiny fruit. Unless he meets that perverted Nen, Lan Fei is almost immortal. At this time, Sayu's eyes widened again, and he saw that his left foot was separated from his body almost at the same time as Lan Fei's left foot, and blood poured out again, staining the ring red. But, even so, with strong vitality and strong will, Xiyu still stood on the spot with one foot and did not fall down. Ong! At the same time, Lan Fei's left foot that had rolled to the ground once again turned into a long beam of light, condensing towards the incision that he had severed. A moment later, Lan Fei's left foot returned to its original state intact. How is this possible? Can broken hands and feet be restored? Also, you and I have no contact, even if you are transmuter Nen, it is impossible to do this step. Xiyu raised his hand, and suddenly slapped his left arm and left leg. The bloody incision was instantly burned and then completely sealed. Who told you I'm Nen from transmuter? Lan Fei stared at Xiyu with a smile. Not a transmuter. As a two-star hunter, it was the first time for Xiyu to see such a strange and terrifying scene. The little ghost in front of him, as long as he injures himself with the long sword condensed by the golden light in his hand, he will also be injured, and the injured parts are exactly the same. The most important thing is that the damaged parts of Lan Fei can heal themselves and return to the original intact, but he can only helplessly watch his left hand and left foot being cut off. Okay, I won't play with you anymore. The next step is the heart. Do you want to admit defeat, or choose to die? Lan Fei raised the Tian Kongyan sword high, aiming the sword point at his heart. Don't want. Seeing Lan Fei being so crazy, Xiyu was startled, and quickly gritted his teeth and shouted loudly, damn it, I surrender. Facing Lan Fei's eerie and terrifying Nen, he began to get scared. Finally became a two-star hunter, finally joined the Hunter Association, finally became a member of the 12 earthly branches, finally sat on the 250th floor building owner. Even if he lost his limbs, he still has hope, but once Lan Fei strikes if it pierces the heart, then I will be cold. Although his strength has been greatly reduced by the severed arms and legs, and he may also be expelled from the 12 earthly branches and be deprived of the qualification of a two-star hunter, but compared to these, he is more afraid of death. Death, that means everything can only be nothing. This is what you said to me at the beginning, and I just returned it to you without saying a word. Hearing Xiyu squeeze out the word admit defeat, Lan Fei smiled contentedly. The Amazono cloud sword directly turned into dots of light and disappeared in his hand, and the curse pattern under his feet also slowly disappeared. Lan Fei is not the kind of bloodthirsty person. His goal was to get the position of the landlord on the 250th floor, and to see the mysterious identity and strength of the landlord on the 205th floor. Now that he has fulfilled his wish, naturally he will not kill Xiyu. After all, Xiyu has already paid the price with a left hand and a left foot. Little devil, I admire your strength. I am convinced that I lost. Xiyu clenched his fists. It was hard for him to admit defeat, and it was even harder for him to admit defeat to a 13-year-old boy. However, his strength is not enough. In order to be able to live, he can only let go of his dignity. Accepted. Lan Fei nodded. You are limited to one day to move out of the 250th floor. From now on, I will be the only one living here. Well, after all, this is the rule of the Sky Arena. If you lose, you can only go back to the 200th floor and win another 10 consecutive victories to continue challenging, or you can only leave the Sky Arena. Xiyu nodded, and took a deep look at Lan Fei. Little devil, can you tell me, what kind of terrifying Nen have you cultivated? Curse. Lan Fei grinned. Curse. Xiyu frowned, but, we didn't contact. Who said no? Lan Fei gave Xiyu a blank look, then turned and left, leaving Xiyu standing on the ring with one foot in a daze. Could it be that sword? Xiyu suddenly thought of a possibility. However, even though he knew that Lan Fei's curse was related to Tian Kongyan's sword, he still couldn't figure out how Lan Fei activated Nen. Not a transmuter. And condense the golden light long sword, that is the materialization, and it is not the manipulator. What kind of nen is this brat? Forget it, don't worry about it. If you meet him in the future, you'd better stay away. This kid's nen is too weird and perverted. Sayu gritted his teeth, and bounced off the ring on one foot. Now, all he has to do is to leave the Sky Arena, and, with his current injuries, he may not have the face to return to the Hunter Association, otherwise, he will be ridiculed by others and kicked out of the ranks of the 12 earthly branches. Ding dong. Congratulations to contestant Lan Fei for successfully challenging and becoming the new owner of the 250th floor. Starting today, the host Lan Fei can enjoy the treatment of the host of the Sky Arena and get the right to use the 250th floor. I hope that the host Lan Fei will work harder and win the final victory in the biennial fighting competition and successfully climb to the top of the 251st floor. At the moment when the battle ended on the 250th floor, a broadcast sound slowly resounded through every floor of the Sky Arena. In an instant, the Sky Arena exploded, and everyone was shocked by the sound of the broadcast. As strong as the landlord of the 250th floor, a super expert was defeated by Lan Fei. This kid, Lan Fei, is so terrifying. He has become the new owner of the 250th floor, who can defeat him in the future. And who was the host who was defeated? Chapter 55 Lan Fei's Arrangement, Hisoka's Arrival. As the news spread that the owner of the challenge to the 250th floor had won, Lan Fei, the person involved, was hiding in his room on the 200th floor at this moment. These people are really crazy. I want to know about the battle on the 250th floor, and I also want to know the mysterious identity of the owner of the 250th floor. Lan Fei was lying on the bed, and now he became the new owner of the 250th floor, and the purpose of this trip to the Sky Arena was achieved. The owner of the 250th floor is considered to be the most prestigious existence in the Sky Arena. Moreover, I also have more than 200 million rewards, and I can be regarded as a small billionaire. After today, I can move into the 250th floor. I wonder if Gon will be frightened by his current status after he comes to the Sky Arena. Lan Fei thought to himself. After becoming the owner of the 250th floor, Lan Fei can go back to Whale Island and hand over all the bonuses she has won to Mito Aunt. More than 200 million yuan is enough for her to spend a lifetime. It's just that Lan Fei doesn't want to go back yet. Because, before leaving Whale Island, Lan Fei promised Mito Aunt to take good care of Gon, but after the third hunter exam, he came to the Sky Arena first, leaving Gon alone in the cruel hunter during the exam. Of course, with Chiya, Lirio, and Kurapika around, Lan Fei is not worried about Gon's safety. With Gon's strength, he can pass the exam and get the hunter qualification certificate. Moreover, the reason why Lan Fei left was to get the privilege of being the president of Netero and become a hunter first. Lan Fei can't follow Gon's A and wait for him to complete the hunter exam, can he? It doesn't matter that much, I already made an appointment with Gon to meet in HxH City. After checking into the 250th floor tomorrow, it's time to go to HxH City. Lan Fei turned over and slowly sat up from the bed. Bang bang bang. Just when Lan Fei got up, there was a knock on the door of the room. Lan Fei knew that it should be another player from the 200th floor who wanted to find out the mysterious identity and strength of the former 250th floor host. Lan Fei, it's me. At this time, the voice of the young lady Zuchi came from outside the door. This little Jungtai really perseveres. Lan Fei was taken aback, shook his head and smiled wryly, got up and slowly opened the door. Lan Fei didn't want to talk to the others, but Zuchi and Wing, Lan Fei still regarded them as friends. After all, they taught Gon how to practice reciting when Gon came to the Sky Arena. Lan Fei, you really defeated the landlord on the 250th floor. By the way, what does the host on the 250th floor look like? What is his identity? Lan Fei, what is the strength of the landlord on the 250th floor? As soon as Lan Fei opened the door, Zuchi couldn't wait to ask. The broadcast has spread to all floors of the Sky Arena, is this still false? Lan Fei glared at Zuchi. Lan Fei, congratulations, starting today, you are the new owner of the 250th floor. I didn't expect that I, Wing, would have the opportunity to meet the new owner of the 250th floor. Behind Zuchi, Wing straightened his glasses and stared at Lan Fei with a smile on his face. Would you like to come in for a meeting? Lan Fei nodded. No need. If it weren't for Zuchi clamoring to come to you, I wouldn't talk too much. Of course, this should be the last time we meet. Now that you are the landlord of the 250th floor, I'm afraid there will be no chance to see you in the future. Lan Fei, the former landlord of the 250th floor, what is his identity? What is his strength? Wing said seriously, his face became serious. You really want to know? Lan Fei frowned. It stands to reason that Sky Arena keeps the identity and strength of the 21st floor host very secret. If it is not for challenging the 250th floor by yourself, I am afraid that I would not know the real identity of the 250th floor host. However, now that he has defeated the host on the 250th floor, his identity should not be a secret anymore. Okay. Wing nodded slightly. Do you know the 12 earthly branches in the Hunter Association? Lan Fei looked at Wing and couldn't help squinting his eyes. 12 earthly branches. Wing's pupils shrank suddenly. The former owner of the 250th floor is a member of the 12 earthly branches. Lan Fei nodded, but didn't reveal too much. Tisk tisk, I didn't expect it to be so big, the 12 earthly branches, that is the most mysterious organization in the Hunter Association. Lan Fei, You can defeat this kind of opponent. You are indeed the most perverted one in the history of Sky Arena. Wing couldn't help but smacked his lips. The 12 Earthly Branches, he has heard, is the most mysterious organization in the Hunter Association. The members of this organization are all abnormal in strength, and at least they are all 2-star hunters. They are the highest-ranking members of the Hunter Association except for the president of Netero. Up. Okay Zuchi, let's go. After getting the answer that had been puzzling in his heart, Wing touched Zuchi's little head, and was about to turn around and leave. By the way, I have a merciless request. Suddenly, Lan Fei stopped Wing. With your current reputation and status, do you still need to invite me? Wing shook his head with a wry smile. Soon, my younger brother Gon will come to the Sky Arena. At that time, please take care of him. Especially the cultivation of mindfulness, you still need to teach it with your heart. Gon's talent and personality, I believe you will like him when you see him. Lan Fei exhorted. Younger brother. Gon. Wing nodded, and turned around with Zuchi to leave the 200th floor. For Lan Fei's request, he directly agreed. After all, not everyone can get the favor of the host on the 250th floor. As everyone knows, it was such a favor that made Wing embark on an unexpected peak in the future. Deputy Master, what are the 12 Earthly Branches? Isn't it amazing? Zuchi followed Wing, asking questions like a curious baby. This brat actually defeated the landlord of the 250th floor and became the new landlord. It's really not easy. If such strength is placed in the brigade, I'm afraid even the head of the brigade will feel pressure. It's a pity that this brat is not interested in the brigade, otherwise, his joining will definitely give the brigade a new look. On the first floor of the Sky Arena, in the hall, there are still a continuous stream of people queuing up to register, and Maki, a member of Phantom Troupe, also got the news that Lan Fei succeeded in the challenge immediately. And just as she was shocked, a familiar figure slowly walked into the Sky Arena building and walked towards her. This person is none other than Hisoka. Chapter 56 Hisoka's shock, he was a clown. I've been waiting here for several days, you're so slow. Maki looked up and glanced at the lazy Hisoka. I went to Kukulu Mountain, so I was delayed. Hisoka smiled strangely. Withered Mountain. That's the place of the Zoldyck family. Maki was a little surprised. Well, the prey you fancy is still young, so you have to give him a hand from time to time. With his hands on his hips, Hisoka walked towards the elevator in the lobby step by step. 2 or 3 years ago, Hisoka had already been to the Sky Arena, and even fought to the 200th floor. That's where Washidoro lost to him. It's a pity that Hisoka will be absent later. By the way, an interesting little ghost has appeared in the Sky Arena. He is very powerful. Now he has become the owner of the 250th floor. Seeing Hisoka walk into the elevator, Maki followed. Oh, hearing this, Hisoka was stunned. Who is this person? Can he challenge the landlord successfully? Besides, he is challenging the landlord on the 250th floor. Hisoka has always been curious about the identities of the 21 mysterious landlords, especially the landlord who can be located on the 250th floor. He has always wanted to fight with such a super master. However, in the past 2 or 3 years, I have been absent so much that the winning streak has been broken. Otherwise, with Hisoka's strength, he would have won 10 consecutive victories and qualified to challenge the host. This man's name is Lan Fei. I intended to invite him to join the brigade, but the brat refused. Thinking of what Lan Fei said, Maki couldn't help but smile bitterly. What? Lan Fei? Hisoka stared, showing disbelief. Why, do you know this brat? Maki was very curious. Hisoka has always been a confident and calm person. Unexpectedly, as soon as Lan Fei was mentioned, this guy behaved a little differently. Since Hisoka joined Phantom Troupe, this is the first time Maki has seen him. Of course I do. This kid also took the hunter exam before, and he is also one of my prey. It's just that, for some unknown reason, I got the privilege of the president of Netero. After the 3rd exam, I can get the hunter qualification certificate in advance, and this kid left halfway. I didn't expect to come to Sky Fighting Skills field. Tisk tisk. I'm getting more and more interested in this kid. To be able to defeat the landlord on the 250th floor, his strength should not be underestimated. Hisoka licked the corner of his mouth, a fiery light flashed in his eyes, as if he saw his prey was about to fall into a trap. Yeah, to be able to defeat the landlord on the 250th floor, this brat should be a super nen master. Even if it's me, or you, I don't have the confidence to defeat the landlord of the 250th floor, let alone we still don't know the mysterious identity of the landlord of the 250th floor. Maki nodded. By the way, does this kid live on the 250th floor? Hisoka asked. Not yet. After all, the game has just ended. Tomorrow will be the soonest. Maki crossed his arms and looked at Hisoka calmly. Why, do you have thoughts about this brat? I have to remind you that with his strength, even if we join forces, we may not be able to defeat him. Who said I was going to fight him? Even if you want to fight him, you won't be in the Sky Arena. There are too many rules here. Gia, what I want is the kind of freewheeling, unscrupulous fighting. Hisoka opened his hands, and his fingers exuded a powerful light like a sharp blade. The aura of the whole person exploded instantly, and even the smiling face became distorted and weird. This is how excited he was when he saw that the prey could be picked. You really are a pervert. Seeing this, Maki shook his head helplessly. Ding dong. Soon, the elevator stopped slowly at the 200th floor, and Hisoka and Maki walked out one after another. Bang bang bang. A moment later, there was another knock on Lan Fei's door. Could it be Zuchi again? Inside the room, Lan Fei was about to lie down. Okay. A familiar smell, it's Hisoka. Sensing a familiar aura outside the door, Lan Fei stood up and opened the door slowly, muttering in his heart, the hunter exam is over. Little devil, congratulations. Oh no, now you are the new owner of the 250th floor. Before Hisoka could say anything, Maki started joking. Long time no see. Lan Fei ignored Maki, but looked at Hisoka, as the hunter exam over. Where's Gon? I just came from Kukulu Mountain, and Gon should be here soon. Hisoka stared at Lan Fei with a smile. Lan Fei, I didn't expect that among all the people who took the hunter exam, you hide the deepest. I thought you were not simple, but now you have defeated even the landlord of the 250th floor. Your strength is still there. It's really unfathomable. You're not bad either. During the hunter exam, you and ill fans are the only ones I can care about. Lan Fei shrugged. Oh, you actually saw through the disguised identity of Year fans. Tisk tisk, no wonder you get the privilege of being the president of Netero. I thought that I and ill fans were already the two strongest in the hunter exam, but I didn't expect you to see through them long ago. We've become clowns instead. Hisoka laughed bitterly. What's up? Lan Fei asked. The landlord of the 250th floor, what is the identity and origin? Hisoka directly stated his purpose. Hunter Association, member of the 12 earthly branches. Lan Fei said lightly, members of the 12 earthly branches. Hearing this, the expressions of Hisoka and Maki couldn't help but change. As for the members of the 12 earthly branches of the Hunter Association, they have naturally heard of it. This is an organization that is even more mysterious than Phantom Troupe. Nor is it an opponent. The most terrible thing is that this perverted person, as the landlord of the 250th floor, was defeated by Lan Fei. How terrifying is Lan Fei's strength? All along, Hisoka has taken Lan Fei as prey, but in the end, Hisoka found out that he is a clown. People take the hunter exam to play, get a hunter qualification certificate by the way, and even come to the Sky Arena to earn a bonus, and by the way, come to play as a landlord. Chapter 57 If Gon loses a hair, I will kill you with my own hands. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Okay, I should let you know, and you all know it. Come back, I'm going to rest. Lan Fei said lightly. Jia, the 13-year-old kid who can defeat the members of the 12 earthly branches is really a monster. I really want to have a good fight with you here. After knowing the real identity of the landlord on the 250th floor, Hisoka stared at Lan Fei closely, with a crazy and weird smile on his face. Perhaps only by killing his prey with his own hands, the excitement in Hisoka's bones will be relieved. This guy, shouldn't he have some perverted thoughts? Seeing Hisoka's intoxicated and ferocious smile, Lan Fei's eyes suddenly turned cold. Hisoka, put away your little thoughts. I know what you have been thinking all along, so I advise you not to let your mind go. On Gon and me, especially Gon, he is my younger brother, don't treat him as a prey anymore. If Gon loses a hair because of you, I will kill you with my own hands. Boom. In an instant, Lan Fei released his training, and a terrifying aura like a bottomless pit enveloped Hisoka and Maki. The terrifying murderous intent made them shudder, as if they had fallen into an abyss, and the temperature dropped to freezing point. This brat, what a terrifying killing intent. Sensing the terrifying aura released by Lan Fei, Hisoka was a little horrified. As a hunter, he has always played with others in his hands, but he didn't expect to be afraid now. Good guy. This killing intent is too scary. Feeling the terrifying aura from Lan Fei, Maki's body stiffened for a moment. Boom. At this time, with the sound of closing the door, the terrifying killing intent disappeared, and Hisoka and Maki came back to their senses. Hisoka, give up. You little brat, you can't win. This killing intent is too terrifying. Moreover, he can defeat the members of the 12 earthly branches, so he should have the strength comparable to the world's top 5 powerhouses. Maki took a deep breath and stared at Hisoka with a serious face. Yeah, this brat, of course threatened me. Now, it's more interesting. Comparable to the strength of the world's top 5 powerhouses. Hisoka licked the corner of his mouth, and the desire to conquer in his heart made him even more excited. Only the truly strong are qualified to be his prey. Conquering the prey, and even killing the prey, is Hisoka's pursuit of the strong road. That's why he joined Phantom Troupe, because Crollo Lucifer, the leader of Phantom Troupe, has also become his hunting target. Never mind. You are a pervert in your bones. If you want to die, I will not stop you. But, at least not now. The brigade still has a lot to do. Feeling the madness and excitement in Hisoka's eyes, Maki shook his head helplessly, then turned and left. The next day, Lan Fei took the elevator directly and came to the 250th floor again. This time, he is not as a challenger, but as a landlord. From today onwards, he, the landlord, has the right to use and control the entire 250th floor. Lan Fei walked around the entire 250th floor. I have to say that this place is really big, enough to cover the area of a football field. Of course, according to Lan Fei's request, Sayu has already been defeated, and the things he used have to be replaced, so when Lan Fei climbs up to this floor again, everything here is brand new. It's really comfortable to live here alone. It's all so luxurious here. I just don't know how luxurious the 251st floor on the top floor will be. Lan Fei thought to himself, if he can climb to the top of the 251st floor, then he can find a chance to bring Mito Aunt here and let her enjoy the life built by fame and money. With my current strength, there should be no one who can replace the position of the landlord on the 250th floor. Fame and money have been obtained, it is time to leave and go to the next destination, HxH City. Lan Fei walked slowly to a huge platform on the 250th floor, overlooking the scenery outside the Sky Arena building. As expected of the tallest building, the scenery here is really beautiful. If you don't have any pursuits, you can bring a few beauties here to live a shameless life. Unfortunately, that's not the life I want. Lan Fei took a deep breath, breathing in the fresh air, feeling the bright morning sun, everything was so peaceful and peaceful. However, as a time traveler, Lan Fei is rebellious in his heart and wants to be strong, so naturally he will not be content with being ordinary. Lan Fei's goal is to pursue a more exciting and dangerous life. One day, he can fight well with the strongest in the world like President Tero, fight well with Chiya's grandfather, and go on an adventure in the Dark Continent. Fortunately, he could have a hearty battle with the Ant King. Gon, grow up quickly and become strong, otherwise, one day 663 I will enter the Dark Continent, and I won't be able to protect you. Lan Fei thought to himself. Okay, where is the scenery not charming, and where is the scenery attractive? It's time to leave. Lan Fei turned around slowly, and quietly left the Sky Science and Technology field through the landlord's privilege. Just 3 days after Lan Fei left the Sky Arena, Gon and Chiya also came to the Sky Arena. Here, they learned to read and started to follow in Lan Fei's footsteps. The other side, when Lan Fei left the Sky Arena and went to HxH City, Kurapika also started his own revenge plan. With his identity as a hunter, he found an underground agency, and as a novice, he looked for an employer with considerable power in the underground auction held in HxH City, and the job content was not limited. According to Kurapika's own conditions, the office provided Kurapika with an employer who hired bodyguards. 1. Pistol enthusiasts. 2. Antique plate collectors. 3. Human body collectors. In the end, Kurapika chose the body collector, Nyan Nasra. Chapter 58 Phantom Troupe starts to act. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. 3 days later, the airship that Lan Fei was on finally arrived in HxH City. In the city center, on the bustling street, Lan Fei put his hands in his pockets, walked slowly, and looked around curiously. Here, it is the fusion center of culture and economy, and the degree of liveliness is far beyond that of other small towns. I came to HxH City this time for 2 purposes. One is Nyan Nasla, and the other is a Greed Island, Greedy Continent, hunter exclusive game that will appear at the auction soon. Lan Fei said to himself. Nyan Nasra, the daughter of the Nasra family, a beautiful woman with the prophecy Nen, Lan Fei does have some ideas. It would be great if she could get her heart, and Lan Fei also wanted to see if her predictions about him were accurate. Of course, the most important thing is that Lan Fei doesn't want her Nen to be stolen by the leader of Phantom Troupe. As for Greedy Continent, a hunter-exclusive game, Lan Fei also wants to experience it. After all, this is a super game made by Gon's father, Kim Rolex, and other partners, which only Nen can enter. Go for a walk first, and have fun. After all, there is still some time before the underground auction. Before that, we need to find a way to get in touch with Nyan Nasra and cultivate some relationship. Lan Fei grinned. Although I am only 13 years old now, I will grow up year by year. Nyan Nasra is not too old. If the two can get along well, they can get along with each other. It's just that if Lan Fei wants to get in touch with Nyan Nasra, he must find an opportunity. After all, the boss of the Nasra family protects Nyano in all directions, even if Lan Fei is powerful. It is also impossible to forcefully break into the house of the Nasra family and kill all the bodyguards, right? This is a bit of a loss. Maybe it will leave a bad impression in front of Nyan. By the way, Skawala. Soon, Lan Fei thought of someone, who he wanted to invite himself to be Nyan's bodyguard. At this moment, anti-gram decoration. A remote place in the suburbs. The gust of wind whizzed past, rolling up yellow sand and dust, making the already remote suburbs more desolate. It's been years since our brigade gathered, Phaeton. At this time, in the dim wind and sand, 3 figures were slowly walking towards the abandoned high-rise buildings in the distance. The first to speak was a middle-aged man with his hair tied up like a braid and a long sword on his waist. This person is Nobunaga Hachama, a member of Phantom Troupe. 3 years and 2 months. It's just that, in this gathering, the members of the brigade have changed to 2 new faces. Phaeton, with a handsome hairstyle and a face scarf with a skull imprint covering his face, glanced at Nobunaga and responded unhurriedly. Yes, both number 4 and number 8 have changed. The number 4 guy is called Hisoka, right? I don't know if he will be present today. Franklin, with his big lop ears and a fierce look, also spoke. Who knows, even Maki, the messenger, is gone now. Nobunaga shrugged. Anyway, I don't like Hisoka very much. Whether he attends or not has nothing to do with me. Besides, I really don't understand why the leader would let him act like this. Phaeton said lightly. Because he's good at it. Nobunaga stroked his beard. Good skill. Phaeton doesn't care. I have to admit that his free-spirited love is really powerful, and it will be difficult to deal with in reality. Nobunaga glanced at Phaeton. So what? According to your statement, does it mean that the leader is afraid of Hisoka? If so, I can't forgive you. Phaeton also glanced at Nobunaga, with undoubted arrogance in his words. Don't. That's not what I meant. Nobunaga spread his hands. You overestimate him, don't you? This guy Hisoka is nothing special. Franklin's face was full of disdain. HMPH. Just talking about it, who wouldn't? Nobunaga snorted coldly. Boom. As soon as Nobunaga's words fell, a powerful aura erupted from Franklin's body instantly, and Nobunaga was also holding the long sword at his waist tightly at the same moment, not hiding the terrifying aura on his body. The eyes of the two men stared together for an instant. You be asterisk 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 D, if I don't open my mouth, you will treat me as a sick cat. Franklin's eyes opened, and a water-cooled light flashed. But you obviously said something just now, Franklin. A cold light also flashed in Nobunaga's eyes. The two began to confront each other. Hey, it's really a headache, it's just meeting, get up. With his hands in his pockets, Faden shook his head helplessly. You guys just make trouble here, I'm going ahead, the group leader must have brought everyone here to steal something again. Before long, night fell. In a dilapidated building in the suburbs, a faint candlelight was lit at this moment. Damn it, Hisoka, next time I meet him, I'll have to tear him to pieces. Also, what happened to Maki? She's also absent. In the dark and cold broken floor, all members of Phantom Troupe except Hisoka and Maki gathered. Puff. At this moment, the burning candle was blown out by a gust of cold wind. Under the dim sight, the group leader Krollo slowly closed the notebook in his hand. Good Qian Zhao, hey, are you guys discussing something scary? At this moment, a strange voice slowly penetrated every corner of the broken floor, and the figures of Hisoka and Maki slowly came out of the darkness. Hisoka, you be asterisk 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 D. Seeing Hisoka appear, Ubijin was the first to stand up, and in a fit of temper, he yelled at Hisoka directly. You two are so late. Shalnark acted as a boss and interrupted Ubijin directly. Sorry to keep everyone waiting for so long. Maki nodded, and glanced at the familiar figures in front of him. But she didn't know that the Hisoka who came back with her was not himself, but Chiya's big brother Ilfan. He used Nen and disguised himself as Hisoka. Even the members of Phantom Troupe, including the leader Krollo, couldn't detect that the Shiso in front of him was fake. Chapter 59 Kurapika's Hatred, Lan Fei is going to be a shit stick open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Maki, I thought you two weren't coming. At this time, Nobunaga also spoke, and he stared at Hisoka curiously. It was the man in front of him who killed the original number 4 member's face, and then replaced number 4's position. Since the leader summoned me, how could I not come? It's just that when I was sending a message to Hisoka, there was a small episode in the middle. Maki gave Nobunaga a blank look, and then looked at the leader Krollo. By the way, leader, I met an interesting kid in the Sky Arena during this trip. He defeated the owner of the 250th floor and became the oldest player in the history of the Sky Arena. The smallest and topmost building. Funny kid, Maki, you must have invited him, didn't you? Ubijin frowned, so what if he beats the landlord on the 250th floor? Our Phantom Troupe is not something that cats and dogs can join. Ubijin, even if you meet this brat, you may have to run for your life. Do you think you are capable of defeating the landlord on the 250th floor? Maki crossed his arms and stared playfully at the burly Ubijin. But, Ubijin curled his lips and said no more. Leader, everyone has arrived in Kia. At this time, Shalnark spoke again, and turned to look at the leader Krollo who was sitting on the top. Okay. Krollo nodded, and 313 slowly stood up. Captain, what are we going to steal this time? Seeing Krollo standing up, Ubijin was the first to shout excitedly. The mission this time is to snatch the treasures from the auction. Krollo spoke unhurriedly. Under the dark eyes, he could vaguely see his handsome and delicate face, and there was a mark of a cross on his forehead. What treasure is it? Shalnark pressed. It should be an ancient book, after all, the leader likes to read. Maki smiled. No, it should be a game. After all, there is a greedy continent that only Nen can play in this auction. These are the 10 most expensive games in the world. Faden slowly took his hand out of his pocket. I'm only interested in gold and silver treasures. Nobunaga spread his hands. All of them. This time, we want to sweep away all the treasures in the auction. Krollo said calmly. Head, are you kidding me? This auction is managed by the joint agreement of gangsters all over the world. If we are all wiped out AFFH, it will be tantamount to making an open enemy to the gangsters all over the world. Ubijin is a bit aggressive. Ubijin, are you afraid? Krollo stared at Ubijin meaningfully. Afraid. I'm happy, I can't stand it. Leader, hurry up and order, I feel the blood in my body is starting to boil. Ubijin pinched his neck, showing a ferocious and unscrupulous smile. I allow you to kill them all. No matter who hinders, the day will never stay. Krollo slowly raised his hand and gave his highest order as the leader. 3 days later, inside a 5-star hotel in HxH City. It should be almost time, the underground auction should start today. Lan Fei stretched slowly. It's been a while since I left Sky Arena. Gon should have arrived in HxH City, right? Indeed. With Gon's talent, a few days is enough for him to master the practice of Nen. After all, he is the owner of the 250th floor of the Sky Arena, and he also told Zuchi and Wing to teach Gon how to practice Nen. Moreover, Gon doesn't have the ambition to challenge the landlord like himself, and he is satisfied if he can reach the 200th floor. Therefore, according to the previous agreement, Gon should also appear in HxH City at this moment. Oh, and Kurapika. For the sake of the eyes of his own clansmen, this guy has put his best intentions into this underground auction. Lan Fei thought to himself. At today's underground auction, I and Kurapika should be able to meet again. In fact, when Skawala invited Lan Fei in the Sky Arena, he could agree, so that he and Kurapika could become members of Nyan Nasla's guard team. However, Lan Fei is disdainful of being the bodyguard of a gangster family in his own capacity. If he wanted to get close to Nyan Nasra, Lan Fei had thousands of ways. However, the purpose of his visit to HxH City this time is not only Nyan Nasra, but also a game of Greedy Continent at the auction. Therefore, Lan Fei, who was going to find Skawala, quickly gave up his idea, as long as he found Kurapika in the underground auction. Today's underground auction should be very exciting, and the other members of Phantom Troupe should also be dispatched. I'm really looking forward to it. At that time, who can stop me, a shit-stirring stick who broke into the underground auction? Lan Fei grinned. The other side, inside a luxurious manor castle in HxH City. Kurapika also became a member of the Nasra family guard as she wished. Everyone, thank you for your hard work. In the brightly lit hall, all members of the Nasra family guards gathered at this moment. These members are all Nen. The leader is none other than the guard captain Dazane, the enhancer Nen. In front of Dazoni, there are 7 figures standing, namely Kurapika, Yiwalianfu, Shakimono Dakino, Skawala, Feijia, Basho, and Melody. The next task is that in the underground auction at night, you must bid for the following 3 items. It doesn't matter how much you spend, the money will be paid by the Nasra family. 1. The full-body mummy of Princess Kemuk. 2. The facial tissue used by the actor Matsuri Maki, with a DNA testimonial. 3. The eyeballs of the Kuruda tribe, known as fiery red eyes. Soon, Dazone turned on a projector, and the information and photos of the 3 items appeared on the big screen. However, the moment the red eyes appeared on the big screen, Kurapika's eyes were faintly red, and her heartbeat also accelerated. In addition, we have received information that someone is preparing to attack the underground auction. No matter what happens, everyone must be able to act accordingly. The first priority in all actions is to bid for the target item. Dazuo Ni exhorted. Someone is going to raid the underground auction. Should be spiders. Those guys will definitely come. Kurapika clenched his fists involuntarily, took a deep breath, and an unprecedented cold murderous intent flashed in his eyes. Chapter 60 Brothers meet again. If you can't buy it, grab it. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. September 1st. This is the day that Lan Fei and Gon agreed upon. Because, this day happened to be the time when the underground auction in HxH City started. It's time to go. In the 5-star hotel, Lan Fei tidied up his clothes and hairstyle before slowly opening the door and going out. It's so lively. Especially today is the day when the underground auction starts, the flow of people here is even denser than the previous 2 days. Walking on the main street of the market, Lan Fei looked around curiously. Every corner of the street was crowded with people, and both sides were filled with a wide variety of goods, including antiques, pearls, porcelain and so on. Lan Fei knew that this was just a bazaar set up for those who participated in the auction, and the real underground auction was not here. Moreover, it also had a nice name, called Dream Auction, Sale. What is a dream? That is true and false. Many commodities that cost 10,000 rings in the market may be sold at a price of 10,000 rings in the underground auction. Therefore, this place has become a dream market for getting rich overnight, which is why so many people are crowded together. In my impression, Gon and Chiya met Lirio here. Presumably they are crowded in the crowd now. Lan Fei thought to himself. 400,000. Uncle, isn't it too expensive? Suddenly, just as Lan Fei was looking around, a voice of exclamation came from an intersection in the street. That's Lirio. Lan Fei recognized Lirio's voice instantly. Sure enough, Lan Fei turned around and saw Lirio, Gon, and Chi were buying mobile phones. Gon. Lan Fei immediately waved his hand and squeezed towards the 3 of Gon. Okay, it's Lan Fei. Lan Fei, here. Seeing Lan Fei running towards him, Gon waved his hands excitedly. Lan Fei. Chiya at the side also showed surprise. This kid, I didn't expect us to get together again after the hunter exam. Lirio adjusted his glasses frame and showed a gratified smile. Gon, you miss me so much. Did no one bully you during this time? When he got to Gon's side, he gave him a bear hug. Lan Fei, I miss you too. After the hunter exam, I went directly to Kukulu Mountain, and then went back to Whale Island. Mito Aunt saw you and didn't go back with me. I don't know how worried I am. Gon also hugged Lan Fei deeply. The brotherhood between the two will never change. By the way, my hunter qualification certificate. As if thinking of something, Lan Fei slowly let go of Gon's embrace. Hey, this is personally explained by the president of Netero, and the qualification certificate must be handed over to you. Gon slowly took out a hunter qualification certificate and handed it to Lan Fei. Good brother, thank you. Lan Fei patted Gon on the shoulder very satisfied. Lan Fei, we have been to the Sky Arena before, and Zuchi told Wing that you became the owner of the 250th floor. At this time, Chiya, who had been silent for a long time, spoke. Okay. Lan Fei nodded and did not hide it. Of course, I couldn't hide it even if I wanted to. After all, the landlord challenge in the Sky Arena caused a sensation on all floors. Lan Fei, I haven't seen you in half a month, and you turned out to be even more perverted than during the hunter exam. That's the owner of the 250th floor. Even Gon and I can only win one victory on the 200th floor. Chiya stared at Lan Fei in disbelief. This is just the tip of the iceberg of my strength. Lan Fei chuckled. Bah, you can die without bragging. Gon gave Lan Fei a blank look. Lan Fei, if you can defeat the landlord on the 250th floor, you should have learned Nen, right? HxH said seriously. Actually, after playing that game with President Netero, I learned it. Lan Fei grinned. Damn, what a pervert. HxH couldn't help but swear. Hey, you three brats, are you treating me like air? One by one, how strong have you practiced? 0. Ask for flowers. Oh. It feels like the gap between us is widening. Lirio on the side was very speechless. Lirio, have you learned to read yet? Gon looked up at Lirio. Of course, you are all getting stronger, I can't stand still. Isn't reciting just to maintain the life energy of the body around the body? Lirio adjusted his glasses frame and showed a confident smile. Sure enough, you guys are still as overconfident as ever. HxH sighed. Lirio, what you are talking about is called winding, which is one of the 4 elements that must be learned in order to use the boots. Gon explained. What? Does Nien have any other knowledge? Lirio was stunned for a moment. Okay, let's not talk about that, what are your plans for the next step? Lan Fei looked at Gon. I intend to bid on Greed Island in this underground auction. Gon underestimated as he walked. Exactly, I also have this plan. Just, do you have money? A set of Greed Island game will cost at least 8.9 billion quat. Lan Fei stared at Gon with a half smile. 8.9 billion nuns. Why doesn't he go grab it? Immediately, Lirio jumped up violently. Grab. By the way, I have an idea. Lan Fei's eyes lit up suddenly. 8.9 billion renunciation is indeed a huge sum of money that is difficult to get together for the 4 of them, but Lirio's words reminded Lan Fei. If you can't buy it, grab it. What Phantom Troupe can do, why can't I do it myself? Moreover, with his own strength, he is not afraid of being chased and killed by the gangsters controlled by the 10 old men, nor is he afraid of being chased and killed by the people of Phantom Troupe. However, with Gon's strength, it's best not to get involved, otherwise it will be very difficult to leave the underground auction alive. Lan Fei, what's your idea? Gon asked curiously. One word, grab. Lan Fei couldn't help grinning. Chapter 61 All parties are ready to move. Lirio's method open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Grab. Lan Fei, are you crazy? Hearing Lan Fei's words, HxH's eyes widened, staring at Lan Fei in disbelief. The underground auction in HxH City is managed by gangsters, and the 10 top leaders of gangsters in the world, 10 old men, directly intervene. Who are the 10 old men? Their status in the gang is the same as President Netero's status in the Hunter Association, just like his grandfather's status in the Killer family, that is supreme. Moreover, there are tens of thousands of gangsters, and it is said that the 10 old men also have the strongest Nen army, the 10 Yin Beasts, and the strength of each Yin Beast is extremely abnormal and terrifying. Lan Fei wants to snatch such a heavily guarded underground auction. Are you kidding me? Even if your strength is strong, it is impossible for you to walk out of the underground auction alive. Are you rich? Lan Fei followed Gon calmly. We only have 15 million ordained nuns left on us. Gon curled his lips. Lirio, are you rich? At this time, Lan Fei looked at Lirio. I have a fart of money to buy 2 mobile phones for Gon and HxH. I have already spent 400,000 to quit a nun. This is almost my entire net worth. Lirio spread his hands. No matter what method I use, I want to get the game Greed Island. Only in this way can I have a chance to find clues to meet my dad. Gon gritted his teeth and slowly tightened his small fist. Don't worry, I will find a way to help you get it. Who told me that I am your big brother? Lan Fei patted Gon's shoulder to comfort him. Hey, you haven't figured it out yet, have you? The organizer of the underground auction is the most famous gangster. I'm afraid you can't even afford the entrance fee with this little property. Lirio reminded. So, the most direct and effective way is to snatch it from the gangsters. Lan Fei shrugged. He still has more than 200 million nuns on him, so the entrance fee is affordable. Lan Fei, why don't we think of other ways? Gon is still very worried. Unless it is a last resort, it is best not to make enemies with gangsters all over the world. It's okay. Even if it's a robbery, I can only come forward alone, you can't make a move. Of course, you can enter the underground auction venue as buyers, but remember not to talk to me, otherwise you will be targeted by gangsters. After all, with your current strength, you still can't protect yourself. Lan Fei exhorted. Lan Fei, have you made up your mind? HxH frowned. Certainly. Lan Fei nodded. By the way, let's also help Kurapika vent his anger. After all, he is bound to win the red eye. I still don't think it's feasible. There should be a way. Lirio on the side gritted his teeth, opened the laptop in his hand, and logged into Hunter's exclusive website. While the 4 of Lan Fei were discussing how to get the Greed Island, Greedy Continent game, Zoldyck, who was far away in the dry mountain, also started to act. As a member of the Zoldyck family, MIG is completely different from Ilfans. He is a technical nerd, rarely goes out to work, is proficient in computers and games and can make bombs, likes to collect models, and has a super high IQ. Damn, why is this? In the room, MIG was full of anger. While beating the keyboard in front of him, he grabbed the snacks beside him and stuffed them into his mouth. The program should have been fully read. Why didn't even a ghost event appear? Quote. Could it be HxH who lied to me? No, maybe it's because it's the real thing. But why can't it be used? Is it because it's a hunter-only game? B********************************************************************************************************************************************************************e not matter what, I will solve this secret. No matter what, no matter how much it costs, I'm going to get Greed Island. MIG gritted his teeth. He now has a balance of 12.7 billion, but if he wants to get Greed Island, this amount is not enough, and he must have more than double the auction price. Soon, MIG thought of a way. He picked up his mobile phone and dialed out. Dad, let's talk about it. I'll help you kill 15 people. You can lend me 15 billion first. The last time I went out, I remember, it should be when I was 10 years old. After hanging up the phone, MIG boarded his own airship and flew slowly towards Dillinong Airport. At the same time, inside a gorgeous manor castle in HxH City. The guard members of the Nasra family are also ready to act. At 9 o'clock tonight, at the underground auction, we are scheduled to bid for the mummy of Princess Korko, Yiwarafu, Dakino, and Feijia, and I will leave the bidding for tonight to you. The captain of the guard, Dazone, began to issue tasks. Only send 3 people. Skawala frowned. As buyers, we can only work in groups of 3. Weapons, recording devices, and communication devices are not allowed to be brought into the auction. The security in the venue is fully maintained by the gang responsible for managing the operation of the entire underground auction. Therefore, there should be no major problems in the underground auction. If someone acts rashly, it is tantamount to making enemies of the gangsters all over the world. It is unwise for anyone. Dazuo Ni paused, and continued. Basho and Linxian, you are in charge of monitoring the back door. Kurapika and Melody, you are in charge of the sword as the front door, and Skawala and I are in charge of protecting Miss Neong. Everything is arranged, the task begins. Dazuo waved his hand. Nightfall 1.8 is coming. The entire city of HxH was shrouded in the afterglow of the setting sun. Everyone look here, look here. Suddenly, in the bustling market, Liario's voice was particularly noticeable. The conditional auction is about to start, and the auction item is this diamond worth 3 million, and this diamond has a certificate of appraisal from the buyer. Bidding the condition is a competition of arms, and the participation fee is 10,000 ring nuns. If you are loyal and win the boy in front of me, you can get this diamond. Is this how Liario does it? Lan Fei stood at the intersection of the street, and patted his forehead again. Behind him, Liario yelled vigorously, and a crystal-clear diamond was placed on the simple table beside Liario. And in the middle of the table, sitting is Gon. Chapter 62 The First Confrontation, Phantom Troupe member Shizuku opened black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. For Liario's method, Lan Fei really had some headaches, even Chiya who was beside him couldn't stand it anymore, so he turned around and closed his eyes. With this method, even if the fee for one participation is 10,000 ring nuns, how long will it take to earn 8.9 billion ring nuns? Moreover, 8.9 billion is only the lowest bidding price. If you want to get Greed Island, you must be prepared to at least double the bidding price. What a fool. Chiya curled her lips, shook her head helplessly, and opened her eyes to look at Liario with a look of contempt. It only costs 10,000 ringgits to win once, and it takes 890,000 wins. After earning enough 8.9 billion ringtones, the underground auction will probably be over. As time passed, after more than an hour, Gon also successfully won 150 people. At this moment, night has fallen, the lights on the street have been turned on, and there are more and more people around. Come again, please come forward next. At this time, Liario still shouted vigorously. As soon as he finished speaking, a beautiful woman with glasses and a cross necklace on O5's neck slowly sat down in front of Gon. Very good. For the first time, a beautiful woman came to challenge. Liario couldn't help but his eyes lit up. Come on, beauty. Guangli boy, you have to put water on other girls. Immediately, the onlookers also booed. It's her, Shizuku from Phantom Troupe. Has the spider started to move? The bored Lan Fei wanted to go to the underground auction venue alone, but when he turned around, he saw the beautiful woman sitting in front of Gon. Lan Fei recognized this beauty at a glance. It was Shizuku, a member of Phantom Troupe and a manipulator. Shizuku is mainly responsible for the aftermath and transportation of the brigade in the brigade, because her main nen is the vacuum cleaner that nen manifests, the Popeye fish, which can inhale things according to Shizuku's orders. Just such a member of Phantom Troupe whose hands are stained with blood, but she looks like a sister next door. She is polite, but born forgetful, and she is like an ordinary girl in the crowd, not attracting anyone attention. Gon, use all your strength, this girl is not easy. At this time, Lan Fei walked towards Gon, whispered in Gon's ear, and looked at Shizuku carefully with bright eyes. I have to say that Shizuku's appearance is still acceptable, with exquisite facial features, fair skin, and a silly, white and sweet temperament. Not simple. Hearing this, Gon couldn't help being surprised. A person who can make Lan Fei feel that it is not easy should not be underestimated. Immediately afterwards, Chiya also walked up to Lan Fei's side, staring at Shizuku curiously. Please give me more advice. Shizuku saluted Gon very politely. Each to each other. Gon nodded. DB. Soon, Gon and Shizuku put their hands on the table slowly, and when their right hands were clenched together, Gon instantly felt the breath on Shizuku's arm. Apparently, Shizuku also uses Tangle. It's a master. No wonder Lan Fei said that this person is not simple. Gon secretly said, start. Not knowing why, Liario still shouted vigorously. Boom. In an instant, Gon and Shizuku exerted strength at the same time, both of them used the tang, and the chi of each other was concentrated on the right hand. Huh, Nen. Chiya's complexion changed slightly, and he stared at Shizuku firmly. A lot of strength. Gon exhausted all his breastfeeding strength, and after 2 minutes of killing each other, he exerted his strength again, and an even stronger burst of force erupted. Boom. At the last moment, Shizuku couldn't hold on any longer and was knocked down by Gon. It's a pity. Shizuku muttered helplessly, then stood up and turned to leave. Lan Fei, who the hell is she? Gon stared at Shizuku's leaving back, carefully rubbed his wrist, a sharp pain slowly spread throughout his body. Member of the Phantom Troupe. Lan Fei said lightly. Phantom Troupe, isn't that Kurapika's enemy? Gon's expression changed suddenly. Okay, it's time for me to act. According to the current speed, I'm afraid it will be very difficult for you to gather 8.9 billion yuan to participate in the auction. Looking at Shizuku's leaving back, Lan Fei soon had a plan in mind. This should be the first confrontation between himself and Phantom Troupe. Lan Fei, be careful. Gon is well aware of Lan Fei's character, since Lan Fei has made up his mind to snatch him, he can't follow to hold back. Lan Fei, don't be brave when you are in danger. Chiya took a deep look at Lan Fei and warned. As a killer, he didn't care about using any means to get what he wanted, even if it was robbery, even if it was murder. However, Chiya also knew that with his current strength, he couldn't help Lan Fei at all. Do not worry. Lan Fei nodded, turned around and walked slowly in the direction of Shizuku. What he wants to do now is not to block Phantom Troupe's actions, but to grab something from Phantom Troupe. What was the result? At a corner of the bustling market, the burly Franklin, who was more than 2 meters tall, looked calmly at Shizuku who was coming. I lost. That kid Joe's. Shizuku smiled slightly. The brat. Covering his face, Phaeton put his hands in his pockets and nodded calmly. That diamond, I kind of want it. Shizuku felt unwilling. Then can you do it with your left hand? Franklin gave Shizuku a blank look. Yes, why don't you use your dominant left hand to compare with him? Phaeton shook his head helplessly. That's right, seeing that the kid is using his right hand, I followed suit. Can I do it again? Shizuku looked at Phaeton. You've really stayed too far. I'll have a chance in the future, but I can't do it now, it's time to work. Phaeton said lightly. Yeah, not to mention that this is not our style. We are thieves, we can grab whatever we want. Franklin turned around slowly and walked towards the underground auction venue. Chapter 63 Kurapika, I will take you to catch spiders. Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. Just when Lan Fei and Phantom Troupe started to act. Under the night, in a star hotel, the presidential suite. Bang bang bang. WW. Don't want. I must go to the auction venue, I must go. Along with the sound of things being smashed, a cry came out, and a girl with blue hair was squatting on the ground, acting coquettishly and losing her temper, surrounded by all kinds of things she smashed. She is Nyan, daughter of the Nasra family. Boss, have you heard everything? I can't do anything about Mrs. Current temper. The guard captain Dazuo Ni hid behind a table and complained bitterly to the other end of the phone. No matter what, we must stabilize her emotions. On the other end of the phone, there was the voice of Right, the boss of the Nasra family. Boss, we will find a way to bid for what Miss wants. It's just that Miss, her purpose this time is to hope that she can get it by herself. In other words, Miss wants to go to the underground auction venue in person. Dazuo sighed. Understood, I will try my best to arrange things and go to you guys early. Before that, you have to keep an eye on her. It's best to let her sleep well. Besides, your first task now is to take pictures of the mummy and make her happy. Another line on the phone, Yi Shi's voice was deep and thick. I see. Dazuo Ni sighed, hung up Right's phone, and then dialed out again. It's me, what's the situation? There is no abnormality at the auction site, and there is no movement from outside the venue. On the other end of the phone was Kurapika's voice. At the same moment, the underground auction venue in the eastern suburbs of Yukkeksan City under the night, and the top floor of a nearby high-rise building. Kurapika hung up the phone slowly, he was condescending, looking around vigilantly. Beside him, Melody holds a telescope and observes carefully. The defense here is really watertight. Apart from the organizers and the security personnel sent out, no 10 strangers are allowed to approach within a radius of 500 meters. Listening to the sound of sirens coming from in front of the auction venue building, Melody couldn't help but sigh in admiration. There should be a lot of experts gathered around here to deal with emergencies. Kurapika took a deep breath. The organizer of this auction is the 10th old man with the highest status in the gang. With their arrangements, the defense here is naturally foolproof. But, thinking of Phantom Troupe's strength, Kurapika still dare not take it lightly. Phantom Troupe, will they really show up tonight? Not good, someone is approaching. Suddenly, Melody's face changed drastically. She turned her head quickly and looked behind Kurapika. As a music hunter, her characteristic nen is Hell's Ear, which has an extraordinary sense of hearing, and can clearly hear sounds from 300 meters away. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. In an instant, a golden light cut through the night and fell directly behind Kurapika. Enemy. Kurapika's pupils shrank, and the whole person entered a fighting state. Kurapika, long time no see, your nerves are still so tight. What, are you going to fight me? At this time, a faint sound came, and a figure was condensed from the golden light, it was Lan Fei. He possesses the ability of shining fruit, and under the move of the 8-foot mirror, he can shuttle between buildings unimpeded. After parting with Gon, Chiya, and Lirio, Lan Fei came directly to Kurapika. Lan Fei. Seeing the figure condensed by the golden light, Kurapika rubbed his eyes, thinking he was wrong. Why, you're not afraid that I'm someone else using Nen in disguise? Lan Fei grinned. How do you know I'm here? Also, after the hunter exam, where did you go? Gon, Chiya, Lirio, are they all right? Kurapika walked towards Lan Fei slowly, and the two gave a bear hug to show their friendship. Kurapika doesn't have to doubt Lan Fei's identity at all, even if others use Nen to disguise his appearance, they can't disguise Lan Fei's speed of light. In this world, Lan Fei is the only person who can possess the speed of light. I was just with Gon, Chiya, and Lirio. They have all come to HxH City, and they are all very good. Lan Fei nodded. After the hunter exam, I went to the Sky Arena and arrived in HxH City a few days ago. Lan Fei, you haven't told me yet, how do you know I'm here? Kurapika slowly let go of his hands and stared at Lan Fei carefully. Not only do I know that you are here, I also know that you are on a mission, and I have also become a member of the Nosra family guards, responsible for protecting the safety of Nyan Nosra. Lan Fei winked at Kurapika. As a time traveler, Lan Fei knows Kurapika like the back of his hand, how could he not know his every move? Lan Fei, what kind of monster are you? Kurapika didn't know what to say. You know, he and Lan Fei hadn't met each other since the hunter exam, and he also practiced Nen after getting the hunter qualification certificate. Phantom Troupe challenged the strength of the board. The most important thing is that I joined the Nusra family guard team and became Nyan Nosra's bodyguard. This matter, Li Haojiao, is extremely secretive. How did Lan Fei know about it? Does Lan Fei have a prophetic Nen? Kurapika, who is this? Just when Kurapika was shocked, the melody on the side spoke up, and she stared at Lan Fei solemnly. What is the origin of this kid in front of her? Friend or foe? Don't worry, Lan Fei is my friend. Kurapika gave Melody a reassuring look. By the way, Lan Fei, long time no see, you are here to chat with me this big night, right? I'm on a mission now, but I don't have time to accompany you. Kurapika looked at Lan Fei, smiled wryly and shook his head. What the hell am I talking to you about? You're not a beauty. Lan Fei scolded angrily, and then said something that made Kurapika's eyes turn red instantly. I'm here to take you to catch spiders. Chapter 64 Waiting for the opportunity, the bloodbath in the auction venue open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. What? Catch a spider. As soon as Kurapika heard the word, spider, Kurapika's eyes turned red instantly, and a terrifying murderous aura slowly permeated the air. Kurapika. The melody on the side was startled, and she also heard Kurapika's heart beating faster. You guys, when you mention spiders, you will be affected. Lan Fei squinted and stared carefully at Kurapika's fiery red eyes. He knew that once Kurapika's fiery red eyes were opened, that would be the time when his trait Nen was the strongest. Lan Fei, do you know where the spider members are? Kurapika clenched his fists and said every word. I just ran into it just now. This meeting should have sneaked into the underground auction venue. Lan Fei answered truthfully. The underground auction venue. Kurapika frowned. The fiery red eyes disappeared instantly, replaced by a pair of dark and bright eyes. Tisk tisk, it is indeed the fiery red eye, which is known as one of the 7 most beautiful colors in the world. It is really amazing. Seeing that Kurapika's eyes had returned to calm, Lan Fei couldn't help but secretly smacked his lips. Impossible. The underground auction site is so heavily guarded, and anyone who enters has to go through layers of identity verification. It is impossible for people from Phantom Troupe to sneak into 637 so silently. Besides, Kurapika and I have been here for so long, and we haven't found any suspicious people yet. Of course, except you. Melody stared at Lan Fei solemnly. Hey, don't make such a joke, I'm not a suspicious person. Lan Fei spread his hands. Melody is right. The organizer of this underground auction is a gangster. The guards inside and outside the auction venue are extremely strict. It is very difficult for strangers to sneak in. Kurapika said seriously. Phantom Troupe's strength is not as simple as you think. As a time traveler, Lan Fei knows the strength of Phantom Troupe. All the members of the group are perverted. Even the 10 Yin Beasts, known as the strongest gang organization, were almost wiped out by Yi Jin's 10 groups. Kurapika, do you have a way to get into the auction house? Lan Fei asked. Enter the auction venue. Kurapika shook his head. Although I am a member of the guards of the Nosra family, the contract I signed is to protect the safety of Nyan Nosra, and also to guarantee the team members who help Nyan Nosra bid for treasure's safety. Kurapika, do you want to play a big one? Lan Fei grinned. Play a big one. Could it be one break? Kurapika's face changed slightly. In fact, if you want to enter the underground auction venue, there is still a way. You can enter as a buyer. 2. Pretend to enter as a gang worker. However, Lan Fei does not meet these 2 requirements. If he entered as a buyer, he would be worth at least tens of billions, and Lan Fei didn't have this money at all. Secondly, if you pretend to be a member of the gang, with Lan Fei's height and age, you will be recognized by others at a glance. So, the only way is to break through. What, drunk? Lan Fei showed a playful smile. It is good. In order to capture the spider members, I will do whatever it takes. Kurapika gritted his teeth. Kurapika. Drama. The gangsters have already got the information that someone will break into the underground auction venue tonight, so they should have been prepared for a long time. Even if someone breaks in, they may not find the auction item. Once you break in, you will be regarded as a thief by the gangsters. Even if you are a member of the Nasra family's guard, it will be very difficult to end. Even the boss of the Nasra family, right, can't protect you. At this time, the melody reminded. So what? In my eyes, hate trumps everything. Kurapika said coldly. Forget it, let's wait here. Wait for them to come out, we are doing it. Lan Fei patted Cool Afef Rapika on the shoulder, and couldn't help but sigh. As a friend, Lan Fei is still soft-hearted, he doesn't want Kurapika to be an enemy of gangsters all over the world. Moreover, Lan Fei also knew that after the members of Phantom Troupe came out of the underground auction venue, they left in a hot air balloon. He could completely use the ability of the shiny fruit to crush the hot air balloon and make them fall from the sky. At that time, facing the overwhelming siege of gangsters, he and Kurapika can make a move. At this moment, the underground auction venue. In the spacious lobby. The people who come and go are all successful people in suits and leather shoes. They are either rich or expensive, and they all come in as buyers. Soon, all the buyers who participated in the bidding gathered in the number 1 auction hall. It should start soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Princess Amuke's full-body mummy. I have already prepared 30 billion, this time I must win the game Greed Island. I care more about the fiery red eyes of the Kuruta clan. With the last minute before the opening of the auction, the noise in the number 1 auction hall became more and more intense. Look, someone is on stage. It's time to start. At this time, seeing 2 staff members in suits walking slowly towards the center of the auction stage, all the buyers who participated in the auction showed excited smiles. Unfortunately, no one could recognize the identities of these 2 staff members. They are not high-level gangsters, but Faden and Franklin among the members of Phantom Troupe. Ladies and gentlemen, everyone is here today. Then it's up to us to perform. On the stage, Faden showed a weird smile. The buyers who participated in the bidding in the audience didn't know the danger was coming, and they were all looking forward to the start of the auction. As soon as Faden finished speaking, Franklin behind him slowly raised his hands and activated Nen directly. I saw his fingers fell off directly, and the muzzle like a machine gun was exposed in the joints. Not good. Everyone run away. Suddenly, Fei Jia, a member of the Nasra family's guards, immediately noticed something was wrong, and shouted loudly at everyone in the hall. Unfortunately, it was still a step late. Go to hell. Bang bang bang. In an instant, countless bullets burst out from Franklin's hands, like a machine gun, shooting wildly at everyone in the hall. This move is his two-handed machine gun. Chapter 60 Lan Fei makes a move, Bachi Chong Guyu open black lens bracket seeking flower evaluation close black lens bracket. Get down quickly. Seeing the figure sitting in the front row fall down, Dakino, a member of Nasra's guards, immediately squatted down, and Fei Jia and Yiwalianfu beside him also squatted down. Damn it, there are actually people who dare to break into the auction venue to rob and kill people. Aren't these people afraid of making enemies of gangsters all over the world? Fei Jia turned pale with shock. 11 people under the roof, hurry up and cover me. At the moment of crisis, Tuchino directly sacrificed his most powerful Nen. Puff puff. It's a pity that there is a huge disparity in strength between him and Franklin. The condensed 11 figures were instantly pierced by bullets, and then turned into fly ash. Even himself was pierced by bullets, and blood gushed out of his body continuously. How come? This is a reading bomb. Is this guy a transmuter too? Not only did it penetrate my physical defense, but it also pierced through my body. Each bullet has a destructive force. Dakino gritted his teeth, even though his body was pierced by the bullet, but with his strong willpower, he still had his last breath, and roared at Fei Jia and Yiwalianfu at the last moment of falling down. Run away, tell the boss quickly. Dakino. Fei Jia was so frightened that she couldn't care less, she turned around and fled out of the hall. Fei Jia, I think you should go first. After escaping from the hall, Yiwalianfu just took out his mobile phone and wanted to report the situation to his boss right, but he was shot in the head, and his figure slowly fell into a pool of blood. Behind Yoshiwarafu, standing is Shizuku, a member of Phantom Troupe. Yiwalianfu was killed by the Popeye fish in her hand. Yiwalianfu. Fei Jia's eyes widened, she didn't have time to scream, her figure flickered, and she fled to the outside of the field with all her strength. It's a pity, how could Shizuku give her a chance? In the blink of an eye, Shizuku caught up with Fei Jia, and it was still a headshot from the Popeyed fish. Fei Jia's figure also fell down slowly, lifeless. It's really vulnerable. At this time, after tidying up the bodies of Fei Jia and Yiwalianfu, Shizuku had just entered the number 1 auction hall when he heard Franklin's insolent laughter. There is absolutely no room for me to develop. Faden spread his hands. Please clean up, Shizuku. Franklin looked at Shizuku calmly, even though he had killed so many people, his heart was still as calm as water. Because, he is used to it. Go ahead, Popeye. Shizuku nodded and began to use his Nen to clean up the entire hall without leaving a single drop of blood. On a tall building not far from the underground auction venue. On the top floor, through the binoculars, Lee saw commotion at the entrance of the auction venue building, and gangsters poured into the auction venue. No, something happened. Melody looks to Kurapika aside. It should be the spider who made the move. Before Kurapika could speak, Lan Fei already knew about it. Quote exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark quote. Kurapika clenched his fists tightly, his dark eyes turned red again. Melody, you stay here to contact the captain, while the gangsters are in chaos now, I'm going to follow the trail of Phantom Troupe. Walk. Lan Fei's figure flickered, and he jumped down from the top floor first. Whoosh. Behind him, Kurapika's figure also disappeared into the night. What's going on? Everyone disappeared. Not even a soul. Quick, go to the basement and see if the auction item is still there. No, all the auction items of underground gold curry have been stolen. Who the hell did it? Damn, separate and FK me. Hurry up and pass the news to all gangs. In an instant, the people who rushed into the hall were in a mess, and everyone felt incredible. Hundreds of living people who gathered in the hall just disappeared out of thin air. At the same time, outside the auction, also gathered a lot of gang members. The gang just informed that whoever catches the thief who attacked the venue tonight will be rewarded heavily. 0. Ask for flowers. Also, if you find an unidentified flying ship, report it immediately, and kill them as soon as possible. The leader, a top gang cadre wearing a suit, held a pager and conveyed the latest order to all the personnel performing security tasks. Kurapika, look, that's the jumping heat of the spider members. Jumping off a tall building, Lan Fei found phantom troops escape as soon as he came to the entrance of the underground auction venue. Spider. Kurapika raised his head suddenly, staring fixedly at the hot air balloon that kept drifting away. A cold murderous intent flashed in his fiery red eyes. Look, it's a hot air balloon. 0. They are fleeing in the direction of the gourd desert. Contact 10 old men quickly, and ask them to send the Yin Beast directly under them immediately, and they must be killed. At this time, the top cadre of the gang at the head also noticed the hot air balloon floating high in the sky. By the way, who are you? The top cadre of the gang withdrew their eyes from the hot air balloon and stared at Lan Fei and Kurapika with vigilance. Damn it, never let them escape. I want to kill them with my own hands. Kurapika raised his head, staring coldly at the top cadre of the gang in front of him with weird fiery red eyes. A terrifying murderous aura burst out, scaring the top cadre of the gang who was still about to talk swallowed, showing panic look. Don't worry, leave it to me. 8-foot Chong Guyu. Lan Fei grinned, stretched out his hand slowly toward the sky, and quickly locked onto the target. Shish. In an instant, dense light bullets burst out from Lan Fei's hands, drowning the hot air balloon floating high in the sky. Under the night of HxH City, a hot air balloon is hovering high in the sky. Inside the hot air balloon, there are 7 figures standing at the moment. They are the 7 members of Phantom Troupe. Captain, the situation is like this. The tall, muscular Ubijin is reporting the latest status of the mission to Captain Krollo through his mobile phone. Chapter 66 Krollo's Shock, Pursuit and Siege Open Black Lens Bracket Subscription Close Black Lens Bracket. You said those auction items were missing. On Ubijin's phone, the voice of the group leader Krollo came. Yes, according to the only auctioneer with knowledge, it appears someone moved the lot elsewhere hours before the auction began. It's as if they predicted that we would act tonight. Ubijin replied. Oh, on the other end of the phone, Krollo's voice became much deeper. Captain, don't you think the timing of all this happened is too coincidental? Among our group, there should be traitors. Ubijin didn't hide anything, and directly expressed his opinion. I don't think there should be such superficial people in the regiment. After all, what we did in 017 was burning, killing, looting, and we didn't care about reputation and money at all. Also, I am also a little doubtful about the gangsters' actions this time. If they really intercepted our information and knew that our top bandit brigade was coming to attack the auction, they should have ambushed long ago, and the guards would be even stricter. It is very difficult for you to get in, and it is also difficult to kill those people. On the other end of the phone, Krollo analyzed. Indeed, those buyers who participated in the auction were completely unaware and did not bring any weapons into the venue, so we killed them all. Ubijin nodded. Therefore, my conclusion is that there were indeed whistleblowers, but the content was not very specific, but there are still many people who believe it, especially the high-level gangsters. Krollo said in a deep voice. What kind of person was it, and who was the information told to? But no matter what, this operation was considered a failure. Commander, what shall we do next? Asked Ubijin. Find the person who moved the auction item. Krollo ordered. Understood. The organizer of this underground auction is the high-level gangsters, that is, the top leaders in charge of the 6 continents and 10 districts. They are collectively called the 10 Old Men. This is the 10 people who only gather together at this time, and they are the ones who carry out the orders of the 10 Old Men. Proud Troupe Yin Beast. They are the strongest fighters selected by the 10 old men from their own gangs. Ubijin explained. If you want to know the whereabouts of the auction items, you can only lure the Yin Beast out. The next thing, you can figure it out. Krollo responded. Not good. Be careful. Just when Krollo was about to hang up the phone, an exclamation came from Maki. In an instant, dense golden light bombs flooded in like a torrential rain, and after hitting the entire hot air balloon, they exploded directly. Boom. The terrifying explosion directly blew the phone in Ubijin's hand into ashes. Quote. What happened? At the Phantom Troupe base, Krollo frowned and was quite shocked. He tried to call Ubijin, but the only answer was a disconnected beep. Captain, something happened, right? Pakunoda, who stayed on base, frowned. With the strength of the 7 of them, nothing should happen. Krollo took a deep breath. What to do? Damn it, the hot air balloon is destroyed. Who the hell can actually launch attacks on the ground? Judging by the power, it should be the Nen of Transmuter. Fortunately, the hot air balloon is not too high from the ground, otherwise, it would have killed us if it fell. Fortunately, I am an enhancer ability user, and I have blocked a lot of damage for you, otherwise, your Nen would not be able to play a role at all in the air. Uvajin, it's up to you. With your enhancer ability, even rockets can't hurt you. We'll take you as a backup. At the moment when the hot air balloon exploded, all 7 Phantom Troupe members activated entanglement, especially Uvajin, who directly activated Nen to strengthen his body to the strongest state, blocking most of the damage from the 8-foot Chonguyu. It's about to fall, be careful everyone. Uvajin reminded that the figures of the 7 fell like meteorites towards a desolate mountain near the Gourd Desert. Kurapika, let's go. This attack should not kill them. At the entrance of the building of the underground auction venue, Lan Fei squinted his eyes, his figure turned into a golden light, and chased after the 7 figures falling from the sky. Lan Fei, great job. You are really not an ordinary blue change. By the way, for that blow just now, were you the one who attacked Transmuter? Kurapika's eyes narrowed slightly, and while looking into the void, he chased after Lan Fei. Consider. What a scary kid. What are their identities? They can shoot down people in hot air balloons on the ground, so can they even shoot down spaceships and planes? It doesn't matter that much, let's report the situation to the superior first. At this time, the high-ranking cadres of the gang in suits quickly took out their mobile phones and made a call. Then, in a small car, they also chased after the Phantom Troupe members where they fell. In fact, the 8-foot Chonguyu also has an attack range, and it doesn't mean that it can attack as far as it wants. Just like in the world of pirates, the yellow monkey uses the 8-foot Chonguyu to chase down the Straw Hat 0.3 Luffy who is in a coma. When the submarine sinks to a certain depth, the 8-foot Chonguyu can't attack. Therefore, the hot air balloon that Uvajin and the others were riding had just taken off from the underground auction. The height was not too high, and it was completely within the attack range of Lan Fei Shikong's 8-foot Chonguyu. Moreover, at this height, Uvajin is a Nen of the enhancement system, even if he falls, it will not cause much damage to him. As for Phaeton and others, each of them is a super master of Nen, and under the protection of Uvajin, the fall is only a minor injury at most, and it is not fatal. When Lan Fei and Kurapika were chasing Uvajin and others, after receiving the news reported by his subordinates, the 10 old man also sent his strongest army, Yin Beast, to march towards the Gourd Desert. A siege of Phantom Troupe members begins. Chapter 67 Yin Beasts gather, the battle is imminent. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. In the eastern outskirts of Yukkexon City, there is a desolate mountain area where wind and sand are rushing. Boom. In the silent night, there was a sudden vibration, like a meteor falling from the sky. The impact sound could be heard hundreds of meters away, and the whole mountain shook. Call. It was September, and it was close to the Gourd Desert. The temperature difference between day and night was large, and the strong wind mixed with a little air conditioning swept away the sand and dust caused by the vibration, revealing 7 straight figures. Under their feet, the ground was directly sunken, and cracks extended. Call. Fortunately, Uvajin is here, otherwise, we might be seriously injured. Phaeton spoke first. It's also our luck that the height of the hot air balloon is not too high. Maki stretched her feet, and she faintly felt that her feet were a little numb. Damn it, who is it? With such terrifying strength, it can attack us from such a distance from the ground. Nobunaga patted the dust off his body, and the long sword at his waist trembled faintly. It should be the Nen of Transmuter, the attack method is similar to Franklin. Shizuku squeezed his chin and analyzed carefully. Franklin's hands can burst out 05 bullets, just like a machine gun, powerful enough to penetrate the bulletproof wall, and this time the attack method is like a cannonball, and can also produce explosive power. Only those with the ability can do it. Could it be a ghost beast? Shalnark frowned. I'm afraid only the Yin Beasts under the command of 10 old men can do it. After all, they are also very perverted. Franklin nodded. Hey, isn't it? The speed of these gangsters is really fast. As soon as we landed safely from the hot air balloon, someone caught up with us. At this time, Nobunaga raised his feet, walked slowly towards the canyon behind him, and stood at the highest point. Gia, it's just in time, I just have a stomach full of anger to vent. Wait, don't make any moves. I want to have fun with these people. Uvajin squeezed his fists, showing a ferocious and insolent smile. As the most combative member of the brigade, he couldn't bear the bloody killing intent in his heart at this moment. After all, it was the first time in so many years that he was attacked by someone, and he suffered a big loss. Naturally, the anger in his stomach should be vented. Stop it. It's you every time. Must let us play once. Franklin was dissatisfied, turned and walked towards Nobunaga. These superstars are just that, and the strong ones are yet to come. Don't take it lightly, especially the Yin Beast under the 10 old man's command. Shalnark reminded. Yin Beast. Phaeton shrugged, not paying attention, and followed Franklin's footsteps. Just when the 7 people stood at the highest point of the canyon mouth below was surrounded by dozens of gangsters in suits. Almost all of them held thermal weapons in their hands. And the headlights behind them directly illuminated the entire canyon, so they could clearly see the faces of Uvajin and others. Bang bang bang. Suddenly, among dozens of gang members, a bald man slowly raised his hand, pulled his pistol, and said cursingly, "Get out of here quickly, do you choose to be beaten into a sieve, or to be buried alive?" Yo, the tone of this group of people is really serious. Shalnark couldn't help laughing happily. These people don't need to be cleared, are they okay? After all, they pose little threat to us. Shizuku stared down at the dozens of figures in the canyon. Stop wasting time on these people, our mission is not yet complete. Faden put his arms around his chest, and opened his mouth with a calm face. Since you don't want to play, let me clean it up. 17. I just want to find out the guy who attacked our hot air balloon, and let him experience what despair is. Ubijin twisted his neck, then jumped and slid down the steep slope of the canyon. Don't do it yet. Seeing Ubijin jumping down alone, the leading gang leader in a suit walked towards Ubijin step by step. The people who disappeared from the underground auction site belong to you, right? The gangster stared at Ubijin coldly. Ubijin didn't reply, just laughed wildly, and the smile was even more ferocious. D. Boom. In an instant, the gang leader raised his pistol and pulled the trigger on Ubijin. However, the next scene made all the gangsters dumbfounded. Ubijin looked back, and the bullet that burst out was bitten by his teeth. Overreach. Boom. In an instant, Ubijin raised his hand and directly scratched the head of the high-ranking gangster in front of him. A terrifying aura erupted from his body, like a beast breaking free from its restraints, and rushed towards the dozens of gangsters with terrified faces. What? In a short time, screams resounded through the peaceful canyon one after another. At the same time, Lan Fei and Kurapika are rushing here at a high speed. Of course, with Lan Fei's speed, he could reach the canyon in an instant, but, in order to be with Kurapika, Lan Fei slowed down on purpose. Lan Fei, do you feel it? This is a very powerful chi, so strong that even I feel depressed. In the mountains thousands of kilometers away from the canyon, Ku-743 Lapika slowly stopped in his tracks, shocked by the terrifying aura emanating from Ubijin. With such a long distance, you can still feel such a strong aura. One can imagine how perverted Ubijin, the Nen of the Enhancer, is. Well, it's really powerful. After all, this guy is the Nen of the Enhancer. Lan Fei nodded. Enhancer. Lan Fei, don't you know something about spider members? Kurapika frowned. No, a little bit. Lan Fei didn't hide it. With your current strength, you don't have to be afraid of them at all. Lan Fei, you should know how deep my hatred for Phantom Troupe is, so don't meddle in it later. Unless, I am cornered. Kurapika reminded. Don't worry, I will help you stop the Yin Beast. This is a battle between you and Phantom Troupe, I'm an outsider. Of course, if you are no match, I can only kill them. Lan Fei nodded. Whizzing. After a while, the two headed towards the canyon again. At the same time, at the foot behind them, a strange aura like an earthworm also chased towards them from the ground. Apparently, 10 old men's Yin Beast troops also arrived at the first time. Chapter 68 When did we Yin Beasts become nothing in other people's mouths? Open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. At this moment, in the canyon, relying on his own strength, Ubijin directly killed almost all the chasing troops sent by the gangsters. It has to be said that such strength is really terrifying. Ubijin punches to the flesh, like a killing machine, he kills a gang member with one punch, completely immersed in the endless exciting killing game. When the Ubijin regiment wiped out these chasing troops, Lan Fei and Kurapika also arrived. Of course, the ultimate trump card Yin Beast dispatched by the gangster 10 old men also quietly arrived at the final battlefield. It's really boring. These people have no meaning in fighting. Ubijin showed an insolent smile as he finished off the last gang member. Ubijin. At this time, Shalnark, who was standing at the highest point of the canyon, shouted loudly. What, are you going to withdraw? I'm not having fun yet. Ubijin looked up at Shalnark, seemingly dejected. Here, someone is here. Shalnark pointed to the entrance of the canyon, and saw two figures walking slowly. It was Lan Fei and Kurapika. Under the illumination of the car lights, the two of them gave the members of Phantom Troupe a funny feeling. Because, Lan Fei is not tall, and the childishness on his face is still there, and his age group can be seen at a glance. Hey, are you right? A brat, there's another boy who doesn't seem to have any aggressive power. Is this the Yin Beast under the command of 10 old men? Ubijin was taken aback. Spider. Kurapika stopped slowly, stared at Ubijin carefully, and then glanced at the other 6 people at the highest point of the canyon. His pair of dark eyes turned red faintly, like the setting sun of blood, and an unprecedented aura quietly spread in his body. Yin Beast. We're not that dirty and ugly thing. With his hands in his pockets, Lan Fei stared at Ubijin calmly in front of him. Lan Fei has to admit that as an enhancer Nen, Ubijin is really strong, and ordinary Nen can't hurt him. His physical body has been cultivated to a terrifying and perverted level. Deep in my memory, Ubijin almost wiped out the Yin Beast army with his own strength, almost no one can break through his physical defense, he is as unstoppable as a killing beast. And if you want to defeat an enhancer Nen like Ubijin, you can only overcome rigidity with softness, and the traits like Kurapika can just restrain Ubijin. Hey, although we are ugly, we are not dirty. Little ghost, be careful what you say, or I will kill you. Suddenly, just as Lan Fei finished speaking, a gloomy voice echoed in the canyon, and 3 figures with different looks slowly walked into the canyon under the illumination of the headlights. Call. With a gust of cold wind blowing, the atmosphere in the canyon suddenly became strange. Except for the owl, none of the Yin Beasts under the command of the 10 old men looks like a human being. Lan Fei was not angry at the thin man with a hedgehog hairstyle and sharp teeth who spoke. After all, people who are about to die don't have to care about others. As for the 3 Yin Beast members who appeared in front of them, Lan Fei naturally recognized them. A thin man with a hedgehog hairstyle and a thin body, codenamed Sick Dog, Enhancer Nen, uses the strengthened teeth with strong penetrating power, and the nerve poison hidden in the teeth to attack the enemy, and the person who is bitten will be paralyzed quickly, only above the neck is not affected, it can be used to feel the horror and pain brought by torture. He has a bald head, a pair of small eyes that look like two beans, and is short and fat. This person is codenamed Porcupine, Enhancer Nen. He can freely control his body hair, which can be lengthened, hardened or soft at will, and pierced when it becomes hard. The force is extremely strong, and when it becomes soft, it can be as elastic as a spring, so it can resist various attacks. There is also an ugly, bloated, pot-bellied man with a sinister smile and a tongue like mouthparts. This man is codenamed Leech, Emitter Nen, and there are countless leeches, large and small, in his body. Some of these leeches can be used to cure, some leeches can make people sick. Yin Beast. At this time, Kurapika took a deep breath, turned to look at the three people behind him, and said in an extremely cold voice, I don't care what you are, Phantom Troupe can only be solved by me, and you will intervene in the north direction. The tone is not small. Quote, Jia Jia. Since when did our Yin Beasts become nothing in other people's mouths? At this time, at the entrance of the canyon, there seemed to be something moving extremely fast under the ground, like an earthworm burrowing into the ground, approaching Lan Fei and Kurapika, and finally popping out from the ground. Upon closer inspection, it was an extremely ugly-looking figure. Lan Fei also knows this ugly figure. This Yin Beast member is codenamed Earthworm. He is the least human-looking one. He is an Enhancer Nen. He can move freely underground, and he can perform better in the soil than on the ground. With several times the power, it can pull the enemy in and out to fight. 4 of the 10 Yin Beasts came. This time it's more fun. There are spiders in front and ghost beasts in the back. It's a big melee. Seeing the earthworms emerging from the ground, Lan Fei couldn't help grinning. In fact, Lan Fei also has his own views on the Yin Beasts under the command of the 10 old men. The members of Yin Beast are very ugly, most of them should not be human beings, they belong to the subhuman species mentioned in the Dark Continent Nazao. One is because their appearance is very strange. The other is that their physical characteristics are peculiar, like the ability of earthworms, the tongue of leeches, and the members with bat wings that appeared later. Lan Fei remembered that Melody also said that there is such an incredible melody. Is this the heartbeat of human beings? The overall combat effectiveness of Yin Beasts is actually not too bad. They died of arrogance. Yin Beasts have been in gangsters all the year round, which is very tasteless for Nen people. It is foreseeable that any decent Nen will develop arrogance, but in terms of actual combat performance, they are only at the level between the 200th floor and the 230th floor of the Sky Arena, and they are not up to the strength of the host. And Ubijin alone can destroy them, and the brains and defenses they display are too fragile, far from what humans should be. Chapter 69 Lan Fei vs Yin Beast. Kurapikov's Ubijin open black lens bracket subscribe close black lens bracket. Kurapika. People from Phantom Troupe, I will leave it to you. Yin Beast, leave it to me. Seeing the 4 Yin Beasts and Ubijin, Lan Fei immediately made up his mind to divide the battlefield. It's just that there are 6 other people among the spiders, and I'm not easy to deal with alone. Kurapika took a deep breath, stared at Ubijin with a serious face, and then looked up at Phaeton and others standing above the canyon. Hey, is this to divide the battlefield? Since you like one-on-one battles, I'll have fun with you. After all, I haven't met an opponent who can make my blood boil for a long time. Wait a minute, you have to go all out, don't die in my hands so soon. Ubijin grinned, then turned to look at Phaeton and the others. You guys, get out of the way and don't interfere. I couldn't get enough of those minions just now, I finally got someone delivered to my door. Really, you militant, don't take it lightly, be careful of falling into trouble. Phaeton reminded. I think 790 should be handed over to Ubijin, once he gets tough, no one can stop him. Shalnark sat down on the ground directly. Phaeton, Maki, let's play a game together. Judging from this person's tone, it seems that he has an enmity with our brigade. Nobunaga ignored Shalnark and fixed his eyes on Kurapika. 10 old man's Yin Beast troop, I really want to fight with them and test their strength. Phaeton narrowed his eyes and stared at the 4 Yin Beasts coldly. It's him, how did this brat appear here? Suddenly, Maki's complexion changed drastically, his beautiful eyes tightened suddenly, and he stared at Lan Fei firmly. Lan Fei impressed her so much, Maki wanted to invite Lan Fei to join her team in the Sky Arena, but unfortunately Lan Fei refused, and since Lan Fei became the new owner of the 250th floor, Maki has a lot of love for Lan Fei. Curiosity is even heavier. This kid, does he have grudges with our brigade too? Maki stared at Lan Fei, then took another look at Kurapika. It shouldn't be. If there is a grudge, it is impossible for him to let me leave AFDB open the Sky Arena alive. Damn it, if this kid also attacks my brigade, it will be a big trouble. Maki gritted his teeth. Maki, do you know these 2 people? Seeing Maki lose his composure, Nobunaga frowned. That kid, I know him. He is the little guy the first met in the Sky Arena that I mentioned before. Maki nodded. What, is that the funny kid you want to invite to join our brigade? The new owner of the 250th floor of the Sky Arena. Why is he here? Moreover, he is accompanied by a companion who has a grudge against our brigade. Nobunaga was taken aback. For Maki, Nobunaga believed it. To become the owner of the tallest building in the Sky Arena, his strength should not be underestimated. Such a super expert is actually this kid who looks only 2 or 3 years old in front of him. Well, do you still have the mind to play? Maki glared at Shalnark, and continued, if he makes a move, I'm afraid that all 7 of us will have a chance to kill him. In a one-on-one situation, I'm afraid only the leader can deal with it. Didn't you hear what his companion said? This brat is not allowed to interfere in the battle between him and our brigade. And, with Uvajan's temper, do you think he'll let us get involved? Franklin curled his lips. This kid, I seem to have seen it somewhere. Shizuku on the side held her chin and fell into deep thought. She is indeed a person who is naturally forgetful. She met Lan Fei when she wrestled with Gon before, but she couldn't remember it for a while. Let's take a look first. If this brat attacks us, then we can only kill him here to avoid future troubles. 7 people join forces, street. He is enough. Maki took a deep breath, a cold murderous intent flashed across her beautiful eyes. Since you can't be friends, you can only kill them. Who? Little ghost, what do you mean, you stopped the 4 of us by yourself? At this time, a cold light flashed across the gray eyes of the sick dog, and the fangs in its mouth made clucking sounds from time to time. No, I'm not trying to stop you. Lan Fei shook his head. Let me just say, in the face of our Yin Beasts, it is impossible for this brat to have such courage. The porcupine looked disdainful. Little ghost, get out of the way, our target is Phantom Troupe. Otherwise, I'll kill you. The big-bellied leech also spoke. By the way, the person who attacked our hot air balloon before was you. On the other side, Uvajan clenched his fist, he looked at Kurapika, and his finger bones made muffled noises. I was the one who attacked your hot air balloon. Before Kurapika could speak, Lan Fei turned his head and looked at Uvajan with a calm tone. If you want to fight against me, come to Kurapika first, and I will not interfere in the blood feud between you. Beast, I will help you get rid of it. Kurapika, blood feud. Very well, the person who dares to avenge our brigade must be the one who can make my blood flow. It's just that our brigade has killed too many people, I don't know who you are. Uvajan grinned, still showing an arrogant smile. You should remember my eyes. Kuruda, boom. Seeing Uvajan's arrogance, Kurapika's hatred for Phantom Troupe intensified, and his dark eyes instantly turned into fiery red eyes. Okay, this is a battle between them, let's not bother. Oh, that's right, the members of your Yin Beast troupe should be sub-races from the Dark Continent, right? Tonight, your opponent is me. Lan Fei turned around, staring at the 4 Yin Beasts in front of him with a half-smile. You brat. Hearing this, the pupils of the sick dog shrank suddenly. What is the origin of this little guy in front of him? He actually knew the existence of sub-races in the Dark Continent. Boom. Suddenly, under Lan Fei's feet, the earthworm preempted the attack, and directly sneaked from the ground to Lan Fei's back, then jumped up, and punched Lan Fei hard. Chapter 70 Domineering. 1 foot, 1 Yin Beast open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. The guy who drilled the ground is really disgusting. Seeing the earthworm hitting him with a punch, Lan Fei didn't dodge, his body stood like a rock, and his face was calm and composed. Humph. This kid is dead. The sick dog stared at Lan Fei calmly. Yeah, how naive, a mere 12 or 13-year-old kid dares to laugh at us Yin Beasts. The porcupine smiled and said, the eyes that were originally too small to see clearly have been narrowed into lines at this moment. Punch him out, our target is Phantom Troupe. Leech stared at Lan Fei playfully. Apparently, the 4 Yin Beasts didn't take Lan Fei seriously at all. Puff. Just when the earthworm's fist hit Lan Fei directly turned into an element, and that powerful punch was like hitting Lonely, and it fell through. What happened? The earthworm was startled, overreaching. The yellow ape can use the shiny fruit to make a supernova with 1 foot, and I can also rely on the shiny fruit 1 foot. Light speed kick. Lan Fei started to entangle, and then released the practice, the elemental body condensed into substance again, and directly kicked the earthworm. Boom. Facing Lan Fei's kick at the speed of light, the earthworm had no time to react. It was kicked and crashed into the rock wall of the canyon, smashing the rock wall into a deep hole, and the whole canyon trembled. Cough. In the deep pit, the earthworm squirmed and began to cough up blood, and cracks appeared in the deep pit. This brat kicked me into a serious injury. The earthworm stared at Lan Fei with its weird eyes wide open. It seems that we are mistaken. This brat still has some strength. The sick dog's face changed slightly, and he was about to make a move. Suddenly, a golden light appeared above the sick dog's head. Be careful. Suddenly, the porcupine reminded loudly. Boom. Lan Fei's figure was condensed in the golden light. Another light speed kick. Lan Fei kicked the sick dog's face. The power burst out at an incomparable speed, directly kicked the sick dog's face out of shape. The sick dog's figure blasted towards the stone wall behind him like a cannonball, also smashing out a huge deep hole. Puff. Immediately afterwards, the sick dog coughed up a mouthful of blood. Obviously, he was also seriously injured. Next, it's your turn. Lan Fei turned his head and looked at Porcupine and Leech. This brat, why is the speed so terrifying? How did he do that? The porcupine's face changed slightly, and he didn't dare to act rashly. Because the speed displayed by Lan Fei is too fast and weird, and Lan Fei Nen's system cannot be seen at all. Can man be turned into light? Can light condense human beings? Manipulator. That is to materialize chi, but how can the human being become light? Could it be a trait system? Porcupine, don't do it yet. This brat should rely on the speed of light to generate power. With your ability, you can completely restrain him. At this time, Leech shouted loudly at the porcupine. Boom. In an instant, an aura erupted from Leech's body, and he was about to make a move. It's a pity that Lan Fei's speed was faster, so he didn't give Leech a chance at all. In fact, only an enhancer expert like Ubijin can resist Lan Fei's speed. A strong body can completely resist the damage of the shining fruit. Of course, there is another possibility, that is, existences with the same level of strength as Lan Fei, like Chiya's father, Chiya's grandfather, and President Netero, should be able to block the damage of shining fruit. However, just stop it. Lan Fei's strength is not only the sparkling fruit. Like porcupines, sick dogs, and earthworms, the three of them are also enhancer nen, but compared with Ubijin, they are a world apart. Ubijin strengthens the whole body, while sick dogs strengthen teeth, porcupines strengthen body hair, and earthworms can only exert their strength in the ground. Leech, watch out, the brat is behind you. 0. Asking for flowers, 0. Suddenly, the porcupine shouted loudly. What? Leech's face changed drastically, isn't this too fast? When Leech reacted, the golden light behind him was already flickering. Boom. It was another kick at the speed of light, and Leech's figure flew out backwards, also smashing a deep hole in the stone wall, cracking cracks. Puff. However, unlike sick dogs and earthworms, leeches did not cough up blood, but coughed up disgusting leeches. Finally, it's your turn. I know that you can manipulate the body hair on your body, making it hard or soft as you please, so as to dissolve the power. However, your thoughts are too weak for me. Lan Fei raised his hand, the golden light was condensing, and then injected his own thoughts, laser light. Boom. In an instant, a beam of light burst out directly, and shot towards the porcupine. As this, a transmuter. The porcupine was startled, not worried at all, it's useless, my body hair can even withstand bullets. As soon as the words fell, the porcupine's body hair began to harden, covering the whole body like acupuncture. Really, my attack is not a bullet, but also injected with thoughts. Lan Fei crossed his arms and stared at the porcupine calmly. Exclamation mark. Boom. In an instant, the laser light directly penetrated the porcupine's eyebrows, and then exploded. The body hair on his body could not stop the laser light after Lan Fei injected his thoughts, and the heat from the explosion directly burned his body hair. Clean. Just kidding, even the skull spit out by Ubijin can penetrate the mind defense of a sick dog, how can the laser light injected by Lan Fei be worse? I said, don't overestimate yourself. Seeing the figure of the porcupine falling slowly, Lan Fei was full of disdain. Among the 4 Yin Beasts, the porcupine was the first to die. As for the other 3, Lan Fei didn't intend to let them go. With Lan Fei's speed, as long as they are not given a chance to get close, their nen will be useless. Chapter 71 The 6 of us teamed up to kill this kid. Open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. This brat, it's really not easy. No wonder Maki wants to invite him to join the brigade, such terrifying speed is definitely a nightmare for opponents. At the highest point of the canyon, Nobunaga squinted his eyes and stared at Lan Fei solemnly. At this speed of light, can you stop it? It's really abnormal to hang and beat 4 Yin Beasts with just one person. And, this guy is not a 13-year-old kid. Shalnark smacked his lips. The name of the 10 Yin Beasts is probably a bluff, how dare such a waste dare to shout loudly. Franklin stared at the fallen porcupine, disdainful. The speed of this little devil is really tricky. Unless we can restrain him, otherwise, our fate will not be any better than that of Yin Beast. Maki, do you know the ability of this kid? Looking at the moves he uses, it seems that he should be the nen of Transmuter. Shizuku adjusted his glasses frame. I am not sure as well. However, if he can defeat the host on the 250th floor, his strength is definitely not weaker than ours. Maki shook his head. In a one-on-one situation, no one should be the match of Xiaowei. So, even if the big bullies the small, the 6 of us must join forces to kill him. After all, his companion has enmity with our brigade, so we can't let him grow up. Shalnark nodded. Shalnark is right. He is so perverted at the age of 13. Wouldn't it be even more terrifying when he grows up? Also, have you noticed that this little guy's body can also change into a golden light? Maybe this can only be done by the special nen. Faden took a deep breath. He stared at Lan Fei. A strong murderous intent flashed in his eyes. It seems that the Yin Beast is going to be unlucky. Nobunaga slowly held the long sword at his waist with his right hand, waiting for the time to change. 8-foot Chong Guyu. Suddenly, at this moment, Lan Fei raised his hand, the fingertips condensed golden light, and then injected his own thoughts. Dense light bullets burst out from his hand, and submerged towards the master Yin Zeng who was trapped in the stone wall. Well, this move, exactly the same one that wrecked our hot air balloon. Could it be? Is this brat attacking us? Faden's face changed drastically when he saw the dense light bullets shooting towards the 3 Yin Beasts. It should be this brat. Dense golden light bullets, as well as moves that can be launched from the ground, are obviously Transmuter Nen. Shalnark frowned. This kid, if you don't kill him, you will definitely become a big enemy in the future. The dense light bullets are infused with thoughts, and their power is even more terrifying than my machine gun. Moreover, this kid's moves can also produce explosive effect damage. Franklin stood up slowly, a fierce light appeared on his ferocious face. Not good. This kid's attack range is too large, and he doesn't even have a chance to get into the ground. Seeing the dense light bullets flooding in, the earthworm's eyes widened, showing a look of panic. I was a majestic beast, a fearsome existence in the gang, and I was killed by a kid who looked only 12 or 13 years old. Earthworms are not reconciled. His own strongest strength can only be displayed underground, but now he has no chance. You shouldn't underestimate this brat. The sick dog also stared wide-eyed. Facing a move with such a large attack range, he was already desperate, and there was nowhere to escape. Damn it. In the beginning, the four of us Yin Beasts teamed up to unleash the strongest blow, and we should have a chance to kill this brat in front of us. Unfortunately, there is no chance. The big-bellied leech also felt hopeless. After receiving the 10 old man's order, their 10 Yin Beasts have been dispatched, with the purpose of killing the Phantom Troupe, a group of thieves who broke into the underground auction site this time. Unexpectedly, in the end, the people of Phantom Troupe died in the hands of an unknown brat before they had a chance to fight. Exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark exclamation mark. In an instant, dense light bullets directly penetrated the bodies of the 3 Yin Beasts, and they were smashed to pieces like a sieve, blood spattered, and finally burned to ashes by the flames generated by the explosion. Hey, it's too weak. Lan Fei pouted. I just used the ability of the shiny fruit, and then injected my own thoughts, and I can hang and beat the Yin Beast. I have to say that the Yin Beast is too weak. Indeed, the strength gap between Yin Beast and Phantom Troupe is too great, there is no comparison at all. You know, each Phantom Troupe member can hang 2 or 3 Yin Beasts, and an enhancer Nen like Ubijin with a strong body and explosive power can hang 4 by 1 person. Even a weak-looking girl like Shizuku can beat 2 Yin Beasts. It is conceivable that this Yin Beast just has a bluffing name. Boom. Meanwhile, the other side. The battle between Kurapika and Ubijin also begins. I saw that Kurapika was directly hit by Ubijin's left arm with a punch, and his figure flew upside down, but he didn't fall down as expected, but stabilized his figure lightly. Wow. Immediately afterwards, Kurapika slowly took off the coat on his body, and the chain in his hand rattled even more. What? This is impossible. It's unscathed. Ubijin was dumbfounded to see that Kurapika's left hand was still intact with no signs of injury. If you eat this punch from yourself, unless you are also a member of the enhancer, your arm will definitely be broken. However, Kurapika stared at Ubijin calmly like a normal person, and patted the dust on his body with his left hand. This. Impossible. Ubijin's punch. Even if we are 4.9, I am afraid that we will be injured. At the top of the canyon, Nobunaga stared at Kurapika in disbelief. Could it be that this guy, like this brat, is also in existence with perverted strength? Phaeton had a sense of foreboding. If that's the case, then you're in big trouble. It's okay to be punched by Ubijin. It's definitely at the same level as ours, maybe even stronger than us. It can't be delayed any longer. Shalnark frowned, stared at Kurapika, and began to analyze. However, there is still that brat. Once we intervene, he will certainly not stand by. Shizuku was a little worried. What are you afraid of? Even if the big bully the small, the 6 of us will kill him together. Franklin said coldly. Chapter 72 Nobunaga's strongest instant kill. If you are not angry, you will not be able to die seeking flower evaluation. 6 people teaming up. Is this brat too high? Nobunaga frowned. Which member of the brigade doesn't have the strength to beat 2 or 3 Yin Beasts? Even if Lan Fei hanged and beat 4 Yin Beasts by himself, so what? Is it worth joining forces with 6? You know, if all the members of the brigade join hands, they can almost walk sideways, unless the world's strongest like President Netero makes a move. Don't forget, this brat is the one who defeated the landlord on the 250th floor of the Sky Arena. Since he doesn't want to join the brigade, he can only be killed, and he must not be given a chance to escape. Maki took a deep breath. Although she was very interested in Lan Fei, she could only be cruel when she thought that Lan Fei might stand on the opposite side of Phantom Troupe and become an enemy. Even knowing that Lan Fei's strength is terrifying, the 6 members of the brigade can completely kill Lan Fei together. Just do it. Phaeton nodded. Whoosh whoosh. In an instant, Shalnark was the first to jump down the steep slope of the canyon, followed by Phaeton and others. Okay. What are they doing? Meddling. Oh 5. Seeing the 6 Phantom Troupe members jumping down, Lan Fei couldn't help frowning. If all 6 of them are shot, Kurapika is definitely not the opponent. In a one-on-one situation, relying on Kurapika's restraint and oath to Phantom Troupe, they can completely fear no one, but once all members of Phantom Troupe join forces, it will be different. Kurapika may only be crushed. Hey, you guys. Seeing Phaeton's 6 people jumping down, Ubijin frowned, with dissatisfaction in his voice. I told you, you guys are not allowed to interfere. We have no intention of interfering. Phaeton shrugged. Our target is this brat. Shalnark grinned. Are you going to deal with me? Hearing this, Lan Fei was startled, and said calmly, if you do something, I can guarantee that at least 2 people will die in my hands. Moreover, you can only escape, and I will be fine. That's right, we are not cats or dogs like Yin Beasts. Little devil, are you too confident? Nobunaga said coldly. Kurapika, what should I do? That's why they provoked me first. Ignoring Nobunaga's threat, Lan Fei turned to look at Kurapika who was fighting Ubijin. If you want to kill, then kill. Kurapika's cold voice pierced through. It's not that I don't leave it to you, it's that they courted their own death. Also, you have already struggled enough to fight Ubijin, let me clean up these few. Lan Fei nodded. You brat. Seeing Lan Fei's nonchalant expression, Franklin instantly became angry, his violent temper rivaled Ubijin's. How dare you ignore the existence of Phantom Troupe members? Die, brat. Franklin raised his hand directly, the knuckles of his fingers fell off slowly, and 10 fingers aimed at Lan Fei like 10 machine guns. This trick was used by Franklin in the underground auction venue. Two-handed machine gun. Lan Fei squinted his eyes, and he stood there motionless. Da 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 da, like a machine gun firing, I saw sparks emanating from Franklin's 10 fingers, and densely packed bullets burst out, so powerful that they even pierced the air. Shish. It's just that the next scene left Franklin 6 dumbfounded. Numerous bullets directly penetrated Lan Fei's body, but not a trace of blood spattered out. Even though the bullets penetrated Lan Fei's head, his figure still stood firm. How come? The bullet pierced through his body, even his head, but there wasn't even a trace of blood splashing out. Franklin was taken aback. As for his nen, he is very clear that bullets are injected into the mind. Unless an enhancer nen like Uvajin can strengthen his body to the extreme, it is possible to hit E. Is this kid still human? It's a monster. Shalnark was also shocked. He could see the dense sieve-like bullet holes left by the bullets, and Lan Fei's body was almost smashed to pieces. But even so, Lan Fei is still standing firm. Look, let me just say, this kid is not simple. Are you feeling the pressure now? Maki gritted his teeth. Is this kid immortal? Phaeton was full of doubts. Just after Franklin's bullets ran out, Lan Fei's battered body began to glow with a dazzling golden light, and then he recovered, so there must be nothing. I'm sorry, your recitation is useless to me. Lan Fei folded his arms around his chest, showing a look that didn't deserve a beating. It means you guys come and beat me. Anyway, I can be elementalized. No matter how hard you beat me, I won't die. I am immortal. It seems that only Nen, the trait of imprisonment, can trap him, or even kill him. Once he is attacked, his whole body will turn into golden light, and we can't help him at all. Shalnark squeezed his chin and began to analyze. Damn it, I don't believe it. 523 inches. Wow. In an instant, Nobunaga's figure disappeared directly in place. Clang. In the next second, the sword light flashed, and Nobunaga's figure appeared directly behind Lan Fei, and the long sword in his hand was slowly sheathed. Immediately afterwards, Lan Fei's motionless body was cut in half by the middle, and he fell down slowly. I have to say that Nobunaga, as the Nen of the enhancer, his II sword drawing technique is really terrifying, so he strengthened the blade body with the application technique, Jo, of Nen, and integrated circle into his II sword drawing technique. The radius of the circle is 4 meters, which happens to be the limit range of his samurai sword attack. Enemies who enter the attack range will be killed instantly. This is the strongest instant kill of Nobunaga II's sword drawing technique. However, he happened to meet Lan Fei, a perverted existence with the ability of sparkling fruit. Even though Lan Fei's body was cut in half, he was still fine. Tisk tisk, it's indeed the strongest instant kill of Juhei's sword drawing technique. If it can't be turned into elements, I'm afraid it's already hacked to death by you. Ong. The golden light was dazzling, and Lan Fei's lower body, which had been cut off, moved by itself, and finally turned into dense beads of light to connect with the upper body. This scene once again made Phaeton and others dumbfounded. Chapter 73. Let me let you feel the full strength of the 8 Doors Dunjia open black lens bracket subscription close black lens bracket. Just when Phaeton et al. Were shocked. The battle between Kurapika and Uvajin has also entered a fierce stage. Who are you? There are not many people in this world who can take a punch from me and have nothing to do. Your strength is worthy of my affirmation. I can feel a special will from your thoughts. Your chains should be infused with some kind of contract thoughts. Uvajin has no extra time to pay attention to the battle between Phaeton and others and Lan Fei. At this moment, he only has Kurapika in his eyes. Because Kurapika has aroused his strongest desire to fight. Before answering your question, I have to ask you a question. Do you remember the people you killed? Kurapika flicked his left hand, although he received a heavy punch from Uvajin, but with his characteristic Nen, the chain of healing on his thumb can completely heal his injured left hand instantly. A little bit. As long as it is someone who impresses me, I will never forget it. Uvajin twisted his neck and made a bone-chilling sound. So, are you here for revenge? Tell me, who are you avenging for? Kuruda. Kurapika stared at Uvajin coldly. Sorry, never heard of it. Uvajin shook his head. And what about my fiery red eyes? You don't remember either. Kurapika walked slowly towards Uvajin, his dark eyes instantly turned fiery red. Huh, those eyes of yours. I remembered. Those guys who live secretly in the interior, the leader really likes them. Those guys are very strong. You are the survivor of that tribe who. In an instant, Uvajin bared his teeth, his eyes burst out, and his emotions became more excited and violent. Damn scum. Pay for your life with death. Boom. A terrifying aura erupted from Kurapika's body in an instant. He raised his right hand, and with a rattling chain, he pointed at Uvajin. Boom. Seeing that Kurapika was serious, Uvajin's body also erupted with a terrifying and violent aura, and even the state of entanglement turned red. Because of a guy like you, killing makes me more excited and happy, and I can't stop. Quote. Boom. As soon as the words fell, Uvajin punched the ground directly, and saw a huge crack in the ground, spreading towards Kurapika, setting off flying sand and rocks. Seeing this, Kurapika jumped up, flicked the chain in his hand, and chased after Uvajin. However, Uvajin is not the kind of person who sits and waits to die. He is very fast, and under the powerful explosion of his feet, he avoids the attacks of the chains time and time again. Damn it, it's not the way to avoid it all the time. This chain is so annoying. Besides, he was fine with that punch just now. It should be the enhancer. However, to be able to inject such a powerful thought into the chain, it is either an emitter or a manipulator that materializes chi. Damn it, what the hell is this guy? Uvajin clenched his fists tightly. At this moment, he couldn't figure out what kind of Nen Kurapika had cultivated, nor could he find out Kurapika's flaws and weaknesses. He himself cultivates Enhancer Nen, and he can only exert his maximum attack power when he is close to him. However, Kurapika has a chain in his hand, so it is impossible to give him a chance to get close. That punch just now was your full strength. Kurapika stared at Uvajin calmly, with a hint of contempt in her red eyes. You. Very well, this is the first time in all these years that I have been underestimated by my opponent. Next, I will let you experience my history. With full force. Boom. In an instant, Uvajin released Lien from the entangled state, and his aura surged again, crimson-like flames, and the powerful aura pressured the air into chaos. Super Destruction Punch. Uvajin laughed wildly and charged at Kurapika again. Nobunaga, be careful. On the other side, when Lan Fei's lower body was connected again and returned to normal, Shalnark, who recovered from the shock, yelled at Nobunaga. Light speed kick! Exclamation mark! Exclamation mark! Nobunaga just wanted to draw his sword, but was kicked by Lan Fei, and hit the rock wall of the canyon heavily, smashing the rock wall into a huge deep pit, and the whole person fell into it deeply. Cracks spread from valley bottom to valley peak. Hateful. Nobunaga wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and the figure struggled out of the deep pit directly. Obviously, Nobunaga was injured by this kick. Of course, it's just that the internal organs were injured. After all, when Nobunaga was an Enhancer Nen, his strength was much stronger than that of Yin Beast. As expected of an Enhancer warrior, he can resist my light speed kick, which is no match for a clown like Yin Beast. Next, it's my turn to exert strength, you have to be prepared. So far, I haven't fought seriously. You six, let's go together, I will let you feel the strength of the 8 Door Dunjia fully opened. Lan Fei grinned. For the 6 members of Phantom Troupe, it is not enough to rely on the Shining Fruit alone, and they can be beaten to the ground only if they are fully armed. 8 Door Dunjia. Hearing this, Shalnark frowned. This brat, does he have a hidden hole card? Phaeton took a deep breath, and stared at Lan Fei warily. Be careful, this brat is going to fight back. Maki reminded that the whole person also entered the fighting state. Could it be that what was exposed before was not the full strength of this brat? Franklin was taken aback. To fight against the 6 members of our Phantom Troupe by himself, so far, Wong Nuo's, this kid is still the first person. Shizuku adjusted the frame of the glasses, and the pop-eyed fish was also summoned by her. In fact, the 6 of them can completely swarm up, but Lan Fei's ability to elementalize makes them feel headaches, and even have no solution. 8 Door Dunjia, open the door. Boom. In an instant, a terrifying aura erupted from Lan Fei's body. This brat's energy is soaring. Crazy. Is this the practice he released? What? The breath is still rising sharply. This is too scary, right? 8 Doors Dunjia, gap doors open. 8 Doors Dunjia, doors of death open. Boom. As Lan Fei's voice fell, the aura on his body changed from green to blue, and then from blue to red. The terrifying aura oppressed the surrounding space and distorted it. Chapter 75 Head to Head. 1 punch in seconds. Uvajin open black lens bracket. Subscribe close black lens bracket. What the hell did this kid do? Even if it's release training, it can't be so scary, right? Feeling the aura from Lan Fei, Maki was the first to exclaim. It's terrible, from such a distance, I can feel the oppression of the aura released from this little devil. Shalnark stared at Lan Fei with a face full of shock, the air around him was attracted by the aura of Lan Fei. How can a 12 or 13-year-old kid burst out with such a terrifying aura? Even if it is us, who have practiced Nien for decades, we can't do this step at all. Phaeton slowly took off the facecloth, the invisible pressure made him a little out of breath. Could it be that this brat started cultivating in his mother's womb? Shizuku's beautiful eyes widened, and it was the first time he met such a powerful master as Lan Fei. The burst of aura alone is enough to make people feel desperate. It seems that we still underestimated the strength of this brat. No wonder he dared to yell at us. With his explosive aura, even Uvajin, who was fully fired, might not be able to catch up with him. Franklin's face became serious. This brat's ability to be said to be immortal has already given us a headache, and the thoughts he is showing now make us feel infinite pressure. Even if it is the head of the group, I am afraid that it is not the opponent of this brat. Nobunaga walked to Phaeton and the others step by step, his face extremely solemn. As expected of a level 257 8 Door Dunjia. The strength of opening all 8 doors is too powerful. Feeling the power in his body like a volcanic eruption, Lan Fei clenched his fists, feeling for the first time the terrifying power of Emperor Kai's opening the door of death. This force turned Lan Fei's whole body's chi into red, and the air around him also became violent due to the oppression of the chi field. If Uvajin is fully fired, he is like a beast out of trouble, unstoppable. At this moment, Lan Fei, after the door of death is opened, he is like a divine beast escaped from trouble, a king and a king. Whoosh. Suddenly, at this moment, a figure flashed past and landed beside Lan Fei. It was Kurapika. And Uvajin's figure also fell beside Phaeton and others. After feeling the terrifying aura emanating from Lan Fei, the two stopped fighting and moved to the battlefield here. Lan Fei, are you okay? Kurapika is a little worried. After all, Lan Fei was facing 6 Phantom Troupe members alone, so the pressure was still great. As for himself, He could completely suppress Ubijin, but at the last moment when he was about to capture him, he was destroyed by the aura emitted by Lan Fei. As a result, Ubijin escaped from his own lock range. Ubijin, are you all right? Seeing Ubijin rushing over, Phaeton was full of doubts. It's okay, I'm just worried about you. I didn't expect that someone's aura would be more terrifying than Rush's full firepower. This kid, what a monster. Also, his companion. Ubijin glanced at Lan Fei, then at Kurapika, feeling unprecedented pressure for the first time. Fighting Kurapika, he had to admit that he was overwhelmed. The chain in Kurapika's hand was infused with a sense of commitment, and this sense of contract made him extremely powerful, just enough to restrain his own strange power. What should we do now? This time, we met a real master. If we're not careful, we could be killed, asked Maki. The 7 of us joined forces, we should be able to try. As soon as Ubijin changed his previous violent temper, he began to calm down. It's not that Ubijin is afraid, but that he has to consider the lives of other companions. Why don't we forget it, let's withdraw first. We will start after we figure out his ability. Shalnark suggested. I agree with Shalnark. This brat's strength is so weird that it's hard to fathom. Besides, he can make his body natural, unless he cultivates Nen, who has the nature of confinement, otherwise he can't be killed. Shizuku nodded. I'm afraid, we won't be able to withdraw. This brat is already firing on all cylinders. Fullen. Nobunaga, me, and Franklin stay to drag Afbi, the brat. You 4, withdraw first, let the leader find a way to find out the ability of this brat, and find a chance to kill him next time. Ubijin suggested. Okay, I'll stay. Nobunaga nodded, showing a determined look. He is an old member of the brigade. In order to protect other companions, he can choose to give up his life. I'll stay too. Franklin also agreed. Why, are you scared before you fight? When did we Phantom Troupe become so cowardly? Even if I die, I will not lose face to the leader, nor will I lose face to Phantom Troupe. Phaeton said coldly. Have you discussed it? Who will die first? At this time, Lan Fei tilted his head and grinned at Phaeton and the others. Lan Fei's full-level 8 Door Dunjia is different from Kaihuang's. Kaihuang's opening the dead door will put a burden on the body, but Lan Fei will not have any side effects after opening the dead door. The only downside is that Lan Fei can only persist for 10 minutes in the state of opening the dead door, and will weaken after 10 minutes, and can only recover after half an hour. Therefore, once the full level of the 8 Doors Dunjia is fully opened, Lan Fei can only enjoy 10 minutes. However, even this short 10 minutes was enough for Lan Fei to go on a killing spree. Humph, arrogant brat, the stronger your strength, the more excited I am. Super Destruction Punch. Boom. In an instant, Ubijin roared angrily, fired again with full firepower, released the training in the entangled state, the chi on his body also became violent, stepped on the ground, directly cracked the ground and punched Lan Fei. Ubijin poured all his thoughts into this straight right punch, which is as powerful as a missile, and this is the power he is most proud of. Once, Ubijin swore that one day he would train his straight right punch to be as powerful as an atomic bomb. Compare who is stronger. Sunset. In an instant, Lan Fei accelerated, the blood in his whole body was also burning, and the chi in his whole body was also transpiring like a flame, and the air around him curled up and the space faintly distorted. Boom. Similarly, Lan Fei also threw his strongest punch at Ubijin. Instantly, fist to fist. 2 red auras collided together. Click. There was only a sound of bones breaking, and Ubijin's eyes widened, his right hand was broken, and then Lan Fei punched him hard in the chest. Boom. Ubijin felt an unprecedented force of terror hitting his body, and his mind was dizzy. His figure flew upside down at a high speed, coughing up blood in his mouth, vomited out mixed with broken internal organs, his chest was pierced, and his heart was also broken. The powerful force caused his body to smash the stone wall into a deep pit with a size of hundreds of feet, and there was no life in his eyes.